You are about to witness history in the making.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome. That sounds like an old saying I've heard somewhere before. Anyway, this is the Pop Culture Gamers show, and we're all here. All three of us are here this week. So, Haydn, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Steve.
And Marc, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Steve.
So, what you guys been up to? Who's going first?
Go on, Marc, you go first.
All right, I'll go first. I've been been working over the weekend. Well, I worked Saturday off today, but and I cannot. Where I park in Arundel is just kind of a long road down to a big lake, and you can park as long as you like there. But it's because of that. It's where a lot of holiday makers in motorhomes park. And I reckon there must have been at least 25 to 30 in 3/4 of a mile road yesterday. It was crazy. I haven't seen anything like that the whole time it's been pandemic. Nothing at all. And
now the world's reopened.
Yeah, exactly. And what it means is I have to park 2 or 3 times further away than I would normally. But, that was very noticeable now things are opening up again. Went for a day out last week with the kids. Went to a place called Southwater Country Park. In normal times, they do some water sports there, a bit of kayaking and that kind of thing. It was quite busy, but it's basically a big lake with a cafe at one end. You can walk around the lake. They've got a big play park there for the kids. And it was a beautiful day again. So that was good fun. And just working out in the garden, really, trying to get it ready for summer. Been doing that today, painting the fence, that kind of thing. And I've decided I am definitely going to get a Series X, but no way it's got any. You can't. Everybody is saying we'll take 4 weeks. Stock check 4 weeks. I'm going to have to possibly see if I can hook up onto some stock app or something like that, because it's the only way I think I'm going to find one.
It's still the only way for PlayStation as well.
Yeah. It's the same on PlayStation. You can get Series S's, but I don't want the Series S.
Have you seen the actual size of them?
The Series S?
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, I've got in this room I'm in now, I have a 1S, and that's quite small, but the Series S are tiny, aren't they? Compared to the 1S.
Yeah, they are. They're like the Kleenex man-sized toilet tissues. They're about the size of one of them boxes. It's unbelievable that they've got something so powerful in such a small thing. But I still maintain they look more like a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, the vent on the side does make them look like a speaker, I think, yeah. But I'm trying to get Series X, and I will have to keep trying, because currently there's nothing doing.
Jane was advertising some a little while ago saying they got some in, but if you don't see it on Twitter, you don't notice it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And whether or not you can sort of look at Argus as another place, maybe, possibly, they just sometimes pop up out of nowhere.
You want to try Very as well, and John Lewis.
The app's on my phone. I've certainly checked John Lewis recently. I haven't checked Very, or if they still exist, any of the other kind of home catalogue companies. I've not checked those recently. But
and have you tried Shop 2?
Yeah, tried them. Like I say, you can get a Series S without too much bother, even in somewhere like Argos down the road from me in Sainsbury's. But it's the Series X that are selling, which I don't know how. Yeah, carry on.
If you wanted to trip up to Northallerton, CEX in Northallerton, have 2 for sale.
How much?
Probably about £600-700, aren't they?
No, they're not. They're $549.
Right, that's not too bad.
No.
Do you get? Is there anything with that other than just the normal bundle.
It's just a normal bundle, so you get a controller and that's it, basically. But
Well, that's
you
what
also
you get anyway, isn't it?
yeah, but with CEX you also get a 2-year warranty with it. So effectively speaking, you're paying £100 for an extra year's warranty.
Yeah.
Shop Console, though, on their website, they've got to say add to cart now, and that's 4431.
That's pretty good. I'll have a look this week. I'll find one. I will find one. It's my birthday week today.
Okay.
Ooh.
Another birthday in the pop culture games reign, then.
So I've got some time. One thing I haven't done is obviously up until the last week I haven't looked in any physical stores. So we'll see. But I'll find one. I've got a couple of CEX not too far away from me, so it's
you go on they do an app on the phones as well. So if you use that, because they can then, wherever there is one, they will then ship it to you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'll end up doing something like that, I think.
And they'll be doing it with Blu-ray sometimes from after an Arrow disc or something.
Yeah.
And I've been picking a few bits and pieces up from them that way, so it's pretty good.
How's your week been?
Yeah, should we say it's birthday boy time, isn't it? So. What's it like being on the other side of 50?
Yeah, I'm definitely 50 now, so unfortunately. So yes, had my 50th birthday last Sunday, which is why the show was a bit early last week. And thanks, Marc, for doing that show with us. I know, Steve, you couldn't make it, which was a bit of a shame, but never mind.
Yeah, due to work, really.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't get very much. One or two of my best mates completely forgot that it was my birthday, and I'm still waiting for a happy birthday from them. So cheers, guys. But I did get a few from the community, so thanks to everybody who reminded me I was 50. Thanks for that. But I did get my son bought me the Matrix soundtrack on vinyl, which is a nice red and blue vinyl, and some of the guys from my team from work bought us a Star Trek 50th anniversary themes vinyl, which is a double LP.
Nice.
So good. Got some money and bought Monkey, or Monkey Magic as it was otherwise known.
Great. I used to watch it as a kid. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I was watching it as a teenager. See, that's the difference, isn't it? You
God,
on 6 o'clock on BBC Two on a Friday night. It's like back from work, you sit and watch it.
Yeah, I used to sit and watch it with my dad. That's what I remember. So yeah, got that. Picked up a couple of movies myself as well, because Zavi had a sale on 2 for 1 on Arrow movies. So I got The Car, which was one of the movies that I got. I also got 12 Monkeys, the story about 2000 AD, and another one which I can't remember. But The Car.
You mean Videodrome?
Videodrome, that's it. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was. Yeah, so that, because I haven't watched that yet, to be honest. So The Car, and I also picked up the old Steven Spielberg Duel movie.
Fantastic movie. Love that movie.
I'm not kidding you. It's been 30 years since I've seen Duel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I remember I liked it. But I remember, and it had been about a similar amount of time since I'd seen The Car. I remember that there were classic movies that, really loved the time. I mean, Duel was actually 50. It was 50 this year as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a TV movie, remember?
It was, and then it was released.
Spielberg's first, wasn't it?
It was his first, and it was in 1971, so it was year appropriate for my birthday.
Yeah, because before that he was doing TV shows like Columbo, so...
Yeah. Because it was actually Columbo, he'd shown an uncut version of Columbo to whoever was producing it, I can't remember, and that was what managed to get him the actual film. And amazing, the whole film was shot in 13 days as well.
Music in that is what adds so much to that movie, the music.
But there's so much in there as well about things that he took from that movie and put in other movies, like in Jaws, like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and all that as well. So, there was lots of little homages to that movie in his later movies.
Yeah, ideas he had in his directorial capacity.
Yeah.
With some of the shots on that, you know.
Yeah, it's like the bit where the tanker at the end comes out of all of the mist as it's, falling, and they mix in the roar of a dinosaur, and they use the same one in Jurassic Park.
Which was used in Jaws.
As well, yeah. Yeah. And
you hear like a dinosaur sound when it sinks to the bottom.
Yeah, and the old couple who Weaver tries to get help from, and they're actually in Close Encounters of the Third Kind as a couple on the helicopter.
Oh, what, at the where there's all protesting and such, and the helicopter comes across when the ice cream lights go around the corner as they're all sitting in there having their cards and
it's the same couple. Same couple. So it's I just forgot how good a movie it was, because I put it on. I thought, I'll watch this. And that was it. I was just absolutely gripped from about a couple of minutes in. And the car was just as good as I remembered it as well. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't remember
the car.
No, me neither. I don't think I've seen it.
The car, it's about a demonically possessed car that goes around Southern California killing people.
Similar to Christine, then.
Yeah, that's what I said last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, very similar. But yeah, really, really enjoyable. There's a great bit where a woman's on the phone saying, "I'm sure this car has followed me," because she was like, because it can't go on hallowed ground, can the car? And she's like stood on hallowed ground and screaming at it and all that and the other. Anyway, it goes off, and then later on it follows her back to a house, and she's on the phone saying, "I'm sure the car's, following me." And then these lights come on behind her through the window, and the car goes straight through the house. To kill her, sort of thing. But that's a great old movie as well. So
what did the missus plan as a birthday as such? Did she have a little party for you, or?
No, I gave very clear instructions. I wanted it to be absolutely minimalist, because
low key.
Yeah, low key. So I came downstairs, and of course the whole place was decorated in balloons and streamers. But that was all that she did. So yeah, that was it really. Because obviously you couldn't do anything. It was before some of the lockdown rules lifted.
Yeah.
The day before. So it was just sort of like, well, we can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. We can't have a party. So just, let the day sort of pass, because to be honest, I wasn't happy about becoming 50 in the first place. So, it's, it's just one of them things, really. It's time passes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Excuse me a minute, I'm just bringing this closer because I normally do. Oops, sorry about that.
So I've just got to get used to, if I remember the word rightly, being a quinquagenarian.
Excuse me?
That's a 50-year-old or somebody in the 50s.
Oh, okay.
A quinquagenarian.
Nice.
It means
Every day's a school day.
60 though, doesn't it?
Yeah, so...
You feel as much as you do. It doesn't matter whether it's young or old.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I just know that, I'm still in my 20s, and somebody has abducted me and taken away my body and stuck my mind in this fat, decrepit old bloke.
Yeah. I know that feeling. It's just getting up in the morning's hard part, isn't it?
It depends upon what you mean by getting up in the morning, because in some ways it's just not, and some ways it are.
No, the little arthritis kicks in every now and then. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, I don't have arthritis, touch wood.
Me neither, really. I have a bad back. My back is my weakness.
Yeah, I just got a motorcycle accident, and where that chip on my shoulder was, that at the minute it just gives me grief. It really does. But I can't really do much about it when it comes to taking blood thinners, so I can't take any real strong painkillers out. So having to put up with it, really. But yeah.
Anyway, Steve, what about yourself? What have you been doing?
So yesterday I did a Wrong Reel podcast with James on 40 Towers, which is pretty good to do. So that was
Love 40 Towers.
Yeah, it's amazing just looking into the background to the guy it was based on. which is really interesting because that's what they, picks up the idea. But yeah, that was really good to do. So I got that done. I got an email. Not just an email, I saw on Instagram. And there's a company called, I think it's Rustblade, you do Vine on that. They do a lot of sort of genre stuff with horror and that. And I saw that John Carpenter's got a tribute album coming out. So I was quickly on the phone and pre-ordered that because there's only 140 box sets available. So I did that with Bandcamp, and that looks like it could be a good album because that is all the stuff you do know, but by other artists, including one of my favourites, Claudio Simonetti from Goblin. And Goblin, if you don't know, did stuff for Dawn of the Dead and some other Dario Argento movies as well, which is pretty good. So that was pretty cool to do. Also, finally, it took a while, but it was booked a little while ago. Ennio Morricone's score to The Exorcist II: The Heretic turned up, which, even though I'm not a fan of the movie, I quite like the music, so probably, yeah, it's okay. I think this is the worst Exorcist movie out, but the score is pretty good, and it's in puke green colour, which is pretty good. And I've been on the hunt to complete my Star Trek CD collection. I've been in and about looking for stuff, and I picked up on Discogs Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3 the expanded scores. Star Trek 3 just not available on vinyl except for my original copy I've got, but the expanding score is really good. It's got every piece in there, very well presented with the booklets as well. So I was pretty chuffed at picking them up. There's a few more I'm after, which I'm on the hunt for, but it won't be until I get paid in next month before I start diving into some of them, because they're like 200 or 300 are made of each of them. So they're a little bit rare as rocking horse poo, but Discogs is a good way to look for stuff like that. I think the people that are on there are very good at packaging and delivering. More so than eBay, I think. I've not had any bad experiences yet with vinyl or CDs, but I've just had some good people that package it up. So, I don't know about yourselves, how you get your stuff. I mean, Amazon are pretty strange. They put them in about 1 million bags and boxes. But,
with Discogs, Steve, is that basically like a sort of an eBay, but just for vinyl and CDs and things like that?
It's actually a community.
I have looked at it in the past when I've been looking for rarer stuff, but no joy.
Because I use the app, which I catalogue all my vinyl and CDs with. And if you want, I'll send you a link, because people can, if you download the app to your phone,
right,
you can keep track of what you've got. It will tell you how much it's worth, depending on its depending on its condition.
Yeah.
And if you want to hunt, I was looking for an album by the Skids a little while ago. So I just typed in the Skids, found the album I wanted. It said there's 30 for sale at the moment. You go down, scroll down, and there's some from all over the world. People are selling them. I just looked for in the UK that was in excellent condition, and it was in my hands within a week.
Yeah.
So, and some of these original pressings, some of them I think about 15, 16 quid. I think I paid a little bit more for the Great Rock and Roll Swindle.
Right.
Which I was after by the Sex Pistols. But, it's a nice way to get some of those older pressings you did have once maybe before. And the newer stuff as well goes on there, so... Is it
just vinyl?
No, just CDs as well.
Right.
So I've now catalogued vinyl and CDs on there.
I'll have to look into it, I think.
It's a good way. Also, it's got a barcode scanner with it.
Yeah, it's a good
idea. So the newer stuff you got, you can just put your camera up against it and it will then find it on Discogs. You can add it to your library as one you've got and stuff like that. And it also tells you how much all your albums are worth in total as well.
Blimey.
Yeah, high, medium and low sort of prices, isn't it?
Yeah, mine's about 16,000 at the moment.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know. I'd pay for a coffin, wouldn't
it? I've said on here before, I used to be a bit of a collector, but I reduced it just because of space. I looked at it one day about 10 years ago and just thought, why am I keeping all of this? Most of it was ripped into my PC anyway.
Yeah.
And I ended up just keeping what I thought were the kind of more important ones for me.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I love listening to music, I really do, and it's a nice way to sort of, I suppose, relax. That's the right word to use. I was listening to some Gary Newman today, and one of my favourite albums, Telecon. It sounds great, but I would love to have a 180 gram version of it for the bass you get. It's sort of much more of a depth in the sound. And Gary Newman's website is doing discount on his vinyl at the moment on his website, so I picked it up for about 20 quid. It's a double album because it's also got it's got some extra bits and pieces and some live tracks as well on top of except what my album's got. So it's pretty good to pick them up like that.
Yeah. The one thing I miss, I mean, I don't really do much physical media at all now, but the one thing I do miss is, especially with vinyl where it's so much bigger, is the artwork. And actually,
it is, and
having to be able to look at that.
A lot of albums now, especially Waxworks and Mondo, do from the soundtrack point of view, and Haydn will probably back me up on this. But they do some lovely liner notes as well.
Yeah.
So you've got the composer's background with what's been said about how they put the album together and stuff like that. And I mean, actually Waxworks, I think I've got something coming from them. I think I've got an email because I've subscribed to them for the whole year with their subscription channel. They do like 7 or 8 albums through the whole year with some t-shirts and bits and bobs that come with it. And I've got Alice, Sweet Alice, I think is coming with my hoodie shirt from Waxworks at the moment. I saw an email for that being shit. So but I like it. I like that idea, and I like to replace because I did lose a few albums over the years due to moving and that. So if I can find some of the ones I didn't have, I'd like to just put them in the collection.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, my missus keeps saying, where are you going to stick it all? Well, see, when we move at some point, I might have a bigger room and I can then make it all up for it. I can get some nice white new sort of IKEA type where you can just put them all in. I've changed the units I've got. I've only got about 500 and something now, I think, looking at discogs, I think about 560 albums.
That's just vinyl?
That's including a few CDs and a couple of 7-inch. I think I've started putting the 7-inch singles in there, but not completely yet. I've got a big box of those.
Yeah.
But I just love listening to music. Just I think it's a great way to just have that Zen moment, personally. Me
too.
And it's funny because I love doing it on Sunday morning. Didn't get much of a chance today because me and Mrs. were doing bits and pieces. But I just sit there with the music on, shut my eyes and just take it in. So.
See, for me, I listen to music going from A to B most of the time too. Listen to a record is a real treat, even though I do buy them.
Actually sitting down somewhere where you're not hassled or bothered by.
Yeah, and so that's why I kind of really limit the number of records that I do pick up. So it's got to be something I really want, rather than something that would be like, I quite fancy having that. Do you know what I mean? Because there is a difference between something that you think is more essential than something that you would just pick up just because that's what you do, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already actually looking into, and I've had a couple of emails for some of the stuff coming out on Record Store Day this year as well. So I'm just having to put a list together for that now. Keep an eye out because I'll go and stand in the queue, and this year hopefully will be sort of a bit more back to normal.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because the last time we did it, we had all had masks on, 3 or 4 people limited in the shop. It's because.
See, I got the last one. I think I got the Umbrella Academy on record. And
did you think that's one you really wanted or not in the end? Did you think?
No, it was what I wanted. Because I did like the soundtrack from the Umbrella Academy, but I ended up ultimately returning it because it was pressed on white vinyl, but it was a bad pressing, and it was one side of one of the records. It was just crackles right the way through, and I just
and that's a bit unlucky sometimes. I had that with Predator, and I sent that back and got another copy back, and that one was fine.
There wasn't any more copies because there were limited edition numbered copies. And I was a bit, do I send it back or not? And I thought, no, because I'd spent quite a bit on it as well. And it came with a free 7-inch record with a couple of tracks on as well. And I was really disappointed to get rid of it because it was nice music. A lot of it was obviously violin because one of the characters plays the violin in it.
Poor that it wasn't checked, though, really, especially on a limited edition.
Well...
They don't.
No.
If you see some of the way vinyl's made, and when it's pressed and how it goes through the machine, the knife goes around and trims it. The labels get put on. It then goes into its sleeve and it gets sealed, and then it goes on.
You'd think there would be some way of just machine scanning it, though, wouldn't you? Just
well,
to check for defects or something like that.
But they might take one out of every 10 or 20 and then just do a check on it, maybe. But they do slip through the net. I've had a couple slip through the net, and Mondo have replaced them for me. So, you know.
Yeah, if they're replaceable, I suppose.
It is difficult because when it's a CD, it's not so bad. Well, you'd think so. I mean, I've had a couple of dual cases that have been cracked. You know, that really pissed me off, to be honest. Yeah. But when it comes to that, I mean, I've had some vinyl that's a coloured vinyl, and they sound really good.
Yeah,
I think it's just a pot luck chance sometimes.
Well, I got both of those Bond ones that were on Amazon, as you know, Steve, and they were coloured vinyl, and they were absolutely fantastic. And I've got loads of coloured vinyl, and you know, the Matrix one, it's fine. It was just a bad batch, and evidently I wasn't the only person who'd returned that, so I think that something had gone wrong with that as a process. But you know, this is Zavvi. They're not always the most dependable company.
No, it's funny because I picked up a copy of Terminator 2, and when I got it in, it wasn't coloured vinyl. When I text the guy that got it, he said I got it from Zavvi, but I've not opened it, so he wasn't aware either. I said, don't worry, I'm not too fussed. Black vinyl's all right. That's how it's supposed to be normally anyway, and it sounds great. So I wasn't too bothered about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ones, and I know that you've already got it, Steve, but one of the ones that's on my Amazon wish list is the Final Fantasy remake.
It's still on there, right?
It is, yeah, it's still on there.
And there's also a Japanese version floating around. Same album.
Yeah.
You know. So they sound great, and they're picture discs. Where some picture discs I've got, well, are they not? I think my oldest picture disc, that's the only issue. I won't say what it is, because they'll just sigh and say he hates it. But when I bought that originally back in 1982, 83, I think it's been not too bad.
What is it, Steve?
Huh?
What is it?
It's a score to ET.
Right. So. That's fair enough. It's a good score.
It is.
Yeah, I just didn't like the movie. I don't mind the music.
So, yes. But then since then I picked up Psycho, which was a picture disc, and the sci-fi classic Day Luther's film. They're all great, you know, so...
I think the weirdest picture disc I've got in terms of soundtrack is Forbidden Planet. Because that's not really music, it's just more like a series of electronic wheels and whistles.
And bobs, as I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got that in green vinyl, my copy, but...
mine's a picture disc.
Yeah, I saw the pictures, but I don't know what... Did I get it from me and Silo Wave, didn't I? I think I picked that one up, but yeah...
That was one of those ones that was a not essential one to buy. I was just in HMV and I thought I quite fancy a record, and I saw that and I thought, I'll get that. I took it home and listened to it. I thought, God, that was awful. I wish I'd bought this.
No, but it's nice to have, though.
It is, yeah. It's one of those ones I'd probably, if I thought about it, probably get the frame to put. You know, you can get those frames to put records in.
Yeah.
And do that, and I'd have it displayed on the wall because it would be more appropriate, because it's a nice looking record being a picture disc, whereas other ones, I've got like the Rise of Skywalker 4, also a 2-picture disc, and there's different picture on each side, and that score's really good.
What's that? I'll go quickly before we go because we'll be putting me sleep here. The 50th anniversary Star Trek. What was that one again? Because it's funny, I bought something on CD ages ago in a big tin for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
And it had a selection of different movies, scores, including another one, which was a Blue album, which has got selection from all the TV shows, just different bits and bobs.
That's the one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a series soundtracks, Blue album. And it
had like 7 or 8 tracks from the original, some from Next Gen, some from Voyager.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the one. So I've yet to listen to it. So just haven't had the time. But because with it being, what I like about buying records is you kind of have to be there. Whereas if it's a CD, you rip it and you listen to it on your,
Well, actually, in here I don't.
iTunes or whatever.
Well, I can't even do that now. I got these CDs recently. I'll just put them in the Blu-ray player and just sit and listen. Crank it up a bit when no one's in the house.
See, I'm so old-fashioned that I still have a CD player for my CDs.
Well, my 4K Blu-ray player does it, so that's fine by me. I mean, I won't going to have trying to find slot elsewhere if I look in there where to fit one at the minute because I don't have a slot. You know, but you could use your Xbox for that as well.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. But when I bought my new amp 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, I was very definite. I wanted a CD player to play my CDs. Much to the annoyance of my wife spending another couple of £100 on something that was not required.
Well, I said that my missus. I think she actually bought me some vinyl last time. She bought me two. She got me Blade Runner and the sequel to Blade Runner on vinyl for me on one of my birthdays, just because I asked her, "What do you want?" I said, "This is what I want."
Nice.
I've got, I've got about 3 versions of it, but yeah, I am triple dipping in some vinyl these days. Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we'll jump into gaming this week.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Okay, guys, who's going to kick off?
Shall I kick off?
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Haydn.
So first off, for all of us Nintendo fans, because Nintendo's not just for kids, there's been a indie showcast that has shown a lot of the new games that are coming out on the Switch, and one of them was being Oxenfree sequel is coming out, so that'll probably mean it'll come out on all of the other platforms as well. But there's also rumours, now this might actually start to change Steve's mind about the Switch.
Go on.
Rumours about something going off between Nintendo and Microsoft.
Well, I can probably add to that as well.
Because the thought is it's going to be Game Pass. And
On the Switch.
On the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's no good to me, because I wouldn't have a Switch, so...
But it might make you
but
want
you
to
could get one and take it with you and sit in your, on your lunch break and...
I use this, connected to a controller, and it's the same thing.
Oh, God, what a hassle.
What do you mean?
Yeah, well,
my Razer
need to have a proper dedicated
my
device
Razer is a
game.
pretty good kit, to be honest. I'm sorry.
Much smoother to have a dedicated device.
Definitely. Much better experience all the way around.
Yeah. It does kind of make sense because on the Switch, they have a sort of service because you can already stream, I know they're much simpler, but you can already stream Super Nintendo games, original Nintendo Entertainment System games, providing you've got the Nintendo Online. Which
you can also stream Hitman 3.
Yes. So it's already able to do that.
Yeah, and this is why it's not just for kids.
Indeed.
That would be my epitaph, wouldn't it? It's not for kids. 1964.
Not just for kids.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so those are some rumours anyway about some information about the Switch. PS5 sort of side. Now this is interesting. Despite the global pandemic, despite the fact that the PlayStation 5s have been unavailable to buy for majority of the time or whatever, the PS5 is evidently the fastest selling console in the history of America.
Really?
Really?
Take that with a pinch of salt.
Is it a reflection of the fact that people don't really have, or for the last 12 months haven't had much else they can do? I don't know.
I think it probably is, to be fair.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm quite sure that Series X has also similarly had so many different issues with it as well in terms of, selling better than the 360 did or whatever. I'm sure that that's the case. But then again, you could also say a lot of people where, in countries where maybe they're not doing a furlough equivalent might also be people might not have the money as well.
Also, it depends on how many consoles were available for the States, for example, whether they were PlayStation 5 or Xbox. Xbox may have not got as many out for whatever reason due to...
I can't see Xbox not supplying a demand on the home turf.
Well, what I mean is it depends how many came out. So whether they sold, 50,000, but then PlayStation might have knocked out 75,000. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all horses for courses for numbers. It's just all...
I am surprised that there's such a shortage of either of them. though. You know, I mean, why not just ramp up production? I mean, can't. Maybe it's down to
It's the
production being
availability.
limited
It's
by
the chips, isn't
pandemic.
it?
But
The RAMs and stuff, isn't it?
It's the availability of the silicon, because this is also the issue on the PC, which is why I could take my 3080 out of this PC and sell it for the same amount that the whole PC cost me
yeah,
right now, but I wouldn't be able to put anything back in it because I haven't got anything that, any graphics card, because they're just like rocking horse drop-ins.
Mm.
And that's the problem. And there are some of the bigger websites that are actually YouTubers like Linus Tech Tips and J2 Sense, who are doing stuff to try and get a very few number of people, but at least some PC users with graphics cards and stuff like that now as well. So I think until the world returns to normal and people stop using graphics cards for mining, I think it's just something that we're going to have to get used to at the moment.
yeah, get it while you can.
Yeah, exactly. PS5 had a massive update as well.
Yeah, so what's going on with that? I've heard all sorts of chit-chat that it was going right, it was going wrong for them, or...
Yeah, so what the new update has allowed PlayStation 5 users to do is to store the games on the external storage.
At last,
which
really? Was that not a thing originally?
That was not a thing. That was not
really?
a thing.
Okay.
That's crazy, isn't it?
But here's the ironic thing: you still have to save your Plus games to the online storage. You can't copy your games over onto the hard drive.
Just the Plus games, though.
No. So game saves. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you can, let's say that you have Hitman, you're going to play something else, you put it onto the hard drive, so it's stored, but you can't play it. And then you put something else on, then you go back. You're going to have to have uploaded your save to the cloud, which, to be fair, it will do automatically. But it's still a hassle.
Is there a delay in playing the game from the save then, or?
Is there what, sorry?
Is there a delay when you play the game from the save if you go back to it? Or is it...
You can't save the save to the hard drive. That can only be stored on the SSD.
Save files are quite small, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But it's just a stupid thing. They should have really have done that. I'm really... This generation, I think that this generation is stupid, because for a start off, they're saying about, we were not going to see load screens anymore. Well, I've seen loads of load screens in PlayStation 5 and Xbox games, for a start off, so that's a lie. Secondly, some people say, well, the technology is such that the games will only operate if they're on the SSD. They could make that so that those load screens could go on longer, that are already there, that we said we weren't going to get. And secondly, some of the games that are being stored will run perfectly well on the previous version, like not the PS5 version, but the PS4 version or the Xbox One version will run off the hard drive. So there's no reason why that the next gen version, even with the slightly souped up graphics, still should be able to run off the hard drive. They really need to enable the ability to be able to store games on a hard drive, accept longer load times, and maybe saying some of the games, because of the technical wizardry that they do in there, means that they have to be stored on the hard drive, but some games don't, and they allow you to on the SSD, and then those games that don't definitely need the SSD can then go on a normal hard drive and still play. That's what I think that they should do, because it's just stupid, the whole thing on PlayStation, where you've got something like 600 gig to store all of your games on is ridiculous. And then you look at the Series S, in order to make it usable, you've got to get that external storage, which puts away the whole point of having an S anyway, because that would put the cost up to higher than buying a Series X.
The cheapest I saw that external storage for the S was £210.
Curry's had it in this week for $179.
Did they? Yeah, it's got to come down.
It has.
Or there'll be third parties making them. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they've locked all of that out at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
And what's unfortunate about this PS5 update, because there's some good stuff in here, don't get me wrong, but they haven't enabled that extra SSD slot on the PS5. Because what we need is the ability to be able to put the NVMe drive into the PS5. That's because there's a slot there. It's just not being enabled or whatever. I don't care. Put the requirement that it's got to be a Gen 4, this much transfer rate, whatever. People will produce it and we can put it in.
Yeah.
Because it is getting to, and I mean, I'm not playing the PlayStation 5 an awful lot, but it is getting to be a problem for me. And that is my third inline, gaming system. The PC's the first, the Xbox is second, the PlayStation 5's the third. Anyway. PS5 has evidently been made quieter with this update. So in terms of that, evidently they've done something with the way that the disk spins up when it's doing a random check, and also changed something to do with the spin about keeping a console cooler. 120 hertz mode output is supported now, but only displays 1080p. HDR can be toggled whether games were designed to support HDR or not. There's added HDMI features for linking devices, so now you can, if you switch on your console, your TV will come on, or if you switch on your TV, you can specify whether or not that also turns on your console or not.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
There's
somebody come out earlier. I didn't realise this.
Well, that's something 360 and PS3 could do, isn't it? I think.
The Xbox have always been able to do that.
Yeah, but the device linking, this is extra control, so you can switch some off in some circumstances. So if you switch on your TV, it doesn't automatically switch on your console. You can say whether or not you want it to or not.
Yeah, I know. So I was redoing. Actually, funny enough, I was doing that with the Xbox recently because I thought, do you know what? I've not actually been into some of the settings, and I actually didn't do it. So obviously through the ARC HDMI connection, when I turn on the Xbox, it will fire up the TV and the amp at the same time. So
yeah.
That sort of thing should have been out of the box, so surely for the PS5.
Well, you would have thought so, but there weren't. There is now. This is what I really can't see the point in this. There is a new universal disable chat option, and I really don't understand the point of this because the console has the microphone on there, and right in the middle of that is a button that you press to switch that mic off. Now, evidently, there's been people forgetting to press the button. Personally, I tend not to. So I just, I can't understand why there's this even option, but evidently they've put on this universal disable game chat option. On the home screen, you can now unfollow games, and you can hide games in the library as well, so you won't get any more updates and stuff like that from it. There has been a update to the controller, although I'm not sure what that update is, and I haven't been able to find any information about it. There's also been talk about a mixed bag of people saying that this update's working really well for them, and some people reporting that it's not bricking consoles, but it's caused them more problems. And some people are reporting that download over Wi-Fi has got worse, when other people are also saying that it's got better. So it's a bit...
Horses for courses.
Yeah.
Believe what, yeah.
So that's the PS5 update. Anyone want to do the other ones that are there?
Alrighty, Days Gone is coming to PC.
Yeah, that exclusive PlayStation game.
Yeah, I downloaded that. I owned it today, actually, on PlayStation. I turned my face in for the first time, for goodness how long. Thought I better put that game on there.
Yeah.
Then I turned it off again. Did the update it, switched it off.
I was going to say that that would make you think, oh, I am a PlayStation, I'm not a toaster.
So I thought I'd better do that because I wanted to get that game on there. But I did an update for it as well. But yeah, there's some games I want to play on it. Don't get me wrong. But right now I'm waiting for it's just a couple of games I'm waiting for from Microsoft, more so at the moment. So.
Yeah. Then we've got Assassin's Creed. Rumours that there's Assassin's Creed game in the works based around King Richard, maybe penciled in for 2023. And DLC for Valhalla is on its way.
Yeah, evidently the DLC from Valhalla has been identified by data miners who have been looking into the discs and stuff like that and the data.
The codes, yeah.
Yeah.
Coding, very good.
So what's happened to Cyberpunk then? What's all that about?
Cyberpunk 2077, data mined again, this one, suggesting that there will be 3 DLCs, but not sure how or when.
Well, I've actually deleted that off my hard drive for the moment because I don't want to play it until I see an update for all shiny.
Good luck, then.
Yeah. I've completed the game once, and I don't want to play it anymore until I see the in. So hopefully they'll get their arse into gear with that one.
Fair enough. Resident Evil Showcase. There's a Resident Evil 4 coming to VR, and it's being linked with Oculus Quest 2. Good machine. Resident Evil Village will have Mercenaries mode. There's a new trailer and new demos coming out, which will be accessible for a limited period of time.
Yeah, and I actually watched that this week, and I like the new trailer. It's really interesting, and also it looks like Chris Redfield's coming back into it as well.
Yeah,
who's one of the other characters. Also, what they did announce, there's going to be a Netflix TV series, and this is going to be cartoon style, should I say? And it's going to be based after 2004 with, I think it's not 2004, Resident Evil 4. So that's coming. That's coming to Netflix in the coming months. They did say that the principal photography for the new Resident Evil movie is finished, and they're now just doing all the CGI parts to the film at the moment, and they will announce when that will be. A bit more on that.
Is that still starring Mila, or is
I don't
it a
know.
reboot?
I'll have to look. It's a reboot, but I don't. I thought she was involved in it. I have to have a look in that movie database to see if she's in it, if there's anything on there yet. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. So with the Village demo coming out, so Sony's going to have a bit of a start with that because at April the 17th or Sunday the 18th, it'll be a PlayStation exclusive. So and also UK April the 18th and to April the 19th. So PlayStation, we could get all the love first of all with that, and then later on, Xbox is going to pick it up in, where shall I find that now? I think it's going to be in. I think it was going to be in May time, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's fine. Do you know what? I might even skip all of this and wait just till it comes out. I'm just don't want to spoil it.
You're not tempted to get in a demo on the 4 or on your Pro?
No, I just think I will wait and watch. I'll actually get the game on the Xbox and go from there completely blind. I have seen some of the footage already that's been out, and it looks very scary, if you know what I mean. And I tell you what, that my headphones will be on there, and I will be crapping myself, I'm sure. But in a nice way, if you know what I mean. I just love being scared, and it looks almost off the back of the last Resident Evil game, which was brilliant. I really enjoyed the last one, with the idea of the house and the guys and the people in there, all sort of right out of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre style. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and I recommend people to at least go back to that last one. So I think it's on Game Pass. Is it on Game Pass now?
Let me have a look.
I think Resident Evil 7 is on Game Pass now.
The Village. Yeah, 7, not the Village.
Yeah, sure it is. I may be wrong.
1 second.
Or has it been on Game Pass? I can't remember.
I think it is on. I think it may well be. I might be wrong, but it's been pretty cheap to pick up anyway. If you wanted to have a look at it.
Yeah, it is. It's on there now.
It is on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is if you're going to get into 8, I think it's well worth just going on to that one as well and playing that. And there's some certain scenes that you are going to jump out your skin when it happens. It is that type of game. Mrs. said she wonders why I get nightmares if she's going to be playing it. So, yeah, all brilliant, that stuff.
Shall I do the last one?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, the Lord of the Rings MMO, which was being developed by Leyou Technologies, Chinese developer, in conjunction with Amazon, has been cancelled. The reason being, Leyou were bought up, I think, by Tencent Holdings, and Amazon and Tencent were disputing, I don't know, think it was probably the game itself, but yeah, there was some dispute between Amazon and Tencent, and so they ended up cancelling the Lord of the Rings MMO, which was kind of sad, really, I guess. If you're a fan, definitely. But yeah, I thought that was worth a look.
Yeah, I heard there's one little bit of news I was listening to YouTube with Destiny Gary, who he gets involved a lot with the Destiny Fireteam podcast. And Bloomberg, the financial company, were telling that they'd seen that someone is looking to buy Square Enix, and there's two sources of somebody could be buying it. Now, just think, with what's going on with Xbox, who knows if they're going to go and take Square Enix off of Sony's hands.
And they've just published Outriders, haven't they? Square Enix.
So, interesting to see how that one progresses. It may well be Sony, I don't know, but some strong reports are suggesting that Xbox are going to purchase Square Enix.
Amazon, throw that in there.
Yeah, maybe. So it's a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
You know, whoever's going to be buying it, it won't come cheap.
Might be Epic.
Maybe. But they say the console, they're thinking that it's someone with a console in the background to take on it. But the Square Enix has always been a Sony publishing in the background, always has been, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, whether it's going to be, the Final Fantasy games or whatever.
Didn't they used to, didn't they take over Tomb Raider?
Yeah, for Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah.
Took them on, and they're just great games as well, aren't they?
Well, they took over IO Interactive as well, didn't they? But they split again from them because they were linked to the Hitman trilogy for a while.
Okay, new releases, anybody?
Sure, go on then, I'll do new releases. So we've got on PC VR and PlayStation VR, we've got Mask Maker. This is all for this coming week. MLB The Show 21. Hallelujah, people. Yay! That's coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series S or X. We've got Buildings Have Feelings Too on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Humankind on PC and Stadia gets a shout there. Judgment on PS5, Series X, and Stadia. And Nier Replicant version 1. on PC, PS4 and Xbox One. That's for this coming week.
And it's all about MLB The Show.
It is. It's got
there has been some footage, I think, some people got it early, whether they may well be this version of the game. I haven't had a look yet.
I don't need trailers.
No.
Played them all.
Funny enough, I did, not that I'm going to mention it a bit later on, I did watch last night A League of Their Own. Do you remember that baseball movie?
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
That's it, with Madonna.
Madonna, yeah. Good movie.
Oh, it's class. But, I was just in that baseball mood.
I watched a bit of baseball last night, actually. I've subscribed to MLB TV. So, I watched a bit last night. Yeah, can't wait.
Power drive space ready for it. I'm not sure how big the file's going to be.
Well, on the Xbox One, for me, it's probably going to be 50 gig-ish, I would say. 40 to 50 gig. That's what it used to be, I think. But that was PlayStation, obviously.
And there's one last thing. If we're talking about games coming out, I just saw a trailer for the latest Formula One game.
Oh, yeah.
And it's coming out soon. I always thought it was very late, but I say the season is well underway at the moment, and it's not too far away. And also, I think as well, it's still Codemasters. I thought EA had bought them, but obviously that may not have happened yet, or if it is, it might be on the year after that they'll be picking it up. So
there's I think there's one of those on Game Pass, isn't there? Or one of the Formula ones.
There is, yeah. I have picked up the latest one. I picked up cheap on CD keys.
Right.
Really cheap, and so I've now got a sort of relevantly up to date Formula One game to play. They are good fun.
Yeah, 2019 is on Game Pass.
But not many people I know like to play Formula One games. Driving games aren't Haydn's cup of tea so much, are they?
Not so much. Used to be years ago, but not nowadays.
I mean, I'm hearing it's good to throw on the last Forza game, not the Horizon, but the last one that came out. They said that's a good improvement if you throw it on there as well. But I haven't got the space for that. My games save and all the content I've got in that is huge, absolutely huge. I will leave it where it is, in the middle of nowhere. Okay, subscriptions, anybody?
Okay, so we've got Twitch with Do Not Feed the Monkeys and Iris the Giant. They're both new additions this week. I did have a go on Do Not Feed the Monkeys. Let's say I did not keep it on my hard drive. Coming on Epic, or at the moment on Epic until the 22nd at 4 p.m, is Deponia, The Complete Journey, The Pillars of the Earth, and The First Tree. And then from the 22nd to the 29th is The Great Alien Isolation and Hand of Fate 2.
Very good. Interesting. Alien Isolation is always worth a good shot. I remember playing that back at one of the game conventions that we did one year.
Yeah.
Was that the one we were at, Marc? I think.
Maybe. Yeah, that was quite a long time ago now. But
down in Earls Court.
Yeah, that's right. I actually booted that up within the last month. Alien Isolation.
Yeah, I never completed it, to be honest.
No, me neither.
It's on Game Pass, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah.
Because it is. Did you have the DLC for it?
No.
Which is well worth picking up. Because
that's on a Nostromo, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got the character, you got the Sigourney Weaver's character, all the other guys from that are in it.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so jumping into gaming this week, Haydn, do you want to start us off?
Okay, so a few games I've been having a go on this week. First off, I started and completed Deliverers of the Moon, which is a first and third person adventure. The reason why I actually completed it, I started it, actually, to be fair, a long time ago when it first entered Game Pass, but it was leaving Game Pass on the 15th. So I thought, oh, well, I better actually complete it. I've started, so I'll finish, sort of thing. So completed that. Really good story, lots of collectibles, plenty of puzzles in the game. Some quite cryptic achievements to do as well, which are a little bit more challenging. So really enjoyed the game. I would say it'd be worth picking it up if you haven't played it on Game Pass, but I would suggest maybe wait until it's in a sale, because I'm sure it'll reappear as like £5 or less kind of game, because it's not the most sort of expensive game out there. There's some real nice set pieces in the game where you're sort of drifting through space. The station that you're on, there's a massive accident, and you've got to put things right. You've obviously got limited air supply and whatever. It's a very badly designed spacesuit that the guy wears, because it can only store 2.5 minutes of air at any one time, which doesn't really go well for 4-hour spacewalks. But I enjoyed the game. It was good fun. It was probably about 3 hours to complete in total, but it was a nice story and a good ending to it as well. Very clearly setting it up for a second one, and I hope that they do that. Has either of you guys played it?
No, I haven't. Have you, Marc?
No, I haven't tried it.
Okay. Well, if you do get a chance, I would suggest, sometimes games do come back into Game Pass.
Yeah.
Thinking of like the City one, can't remember what it's called now. Skylines, that one. Yeah.
Oh, did it come back then, did it?
Yeah, it came back.
Yeah,
it left
it's
and
in
came
there
back.
now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. So the next one that I did was on the PlayStation, and obviously being a big fan of Star Wars, it was Star Wars Republic Commando. So this is, I would say a remake. It's not a remake at all. It's an update. And I'm going to do inverted commas on the word update of the PlayStation 2, I think it was, game.
Okay.
So Republic Commando, if you've not played it before, and that's either because you're either too young or a hermit, was based on Star Wars Clone Wars series, where you play Delta Squad. The voice acting in it is by Temuera Morrison, who plays Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, and Jango Fett in the Star Wars prequels. The controls have been updated to fit the DualShock 4 and DualSense controllers, and you've got the integration of trophies in the game as well. But otherwise, it's pretty much a blow-for-blow version of the old PlayStation 2 game. The gameplay-wise, it's what you would expect, but it feels really, really dated when I played it. The controls felt really quite exceptionally spongy.
What do you mean by that?
Well, just
Not very responsive.
very sort of like, soft and, felt like your character was being negotiated on a cushion.
Right.
So, very spongy, and shooting the enemies just did not feel accurate at all. With the enemies moving way too fast in comparison to your reticle anyway. But also there were bullet sponges as well. So it's like you look at things like Dark Forces, where it's a couple of shots and a stormtrooper goes down. You could plough, 10 shots into a Aegean Ocean and it'll still be standing. And then, when you get to the sort of like the battle droids, you could be going on and on and on. And it just felt like it would take forever to get anything down. And I'm going to say, while it's Star Wars, and I would love to say, because back in the day, Star Wars Republic Commando was like one of the games to play for Star Wars. I'm going to say, if you're thinking about getting it, don't. It's not an enjoyable experience anymore.
Is this just that you were lacking a bit of a Star Wars fix that you decided to throw this on?
I just had good memories of this game.
Yeah, good memories. They always don't come back. They bite you in the arse.
No,
don't they?
I agree.
Yeah, this was definitely one of them, as far as I was concerned. If you want to know what it looks like, just go and have a look to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And on there is a clip of about 30-40 minutes of gameplay from the game. Basically, the opening Geonosis mission. And make your own mind up. But I just didn't feel it. I felt like I was vaguely guiding the character, but it really didn't matter much what I was doing.
Right.
So
there are some better Star Wars games out that you could probably play still if you wanted to have a fix, isn't there?
Well,
Or have
Star
you
Wars.
played them all now? I mean, the latest ones that you've played, haven't you? So
Yeah, Star Wars Racer's probably one of the better ones that of the old sort of caliber Star Wars games. Squadron's not bad. I quite enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order, although it felt like it finished halfway through a fuller game. So I feel like I've only completed half the game, but I've actually done the whole story. I think the thing is, Star Wars and Star Trek, it's very difficult to get a good game in those franchises. So I know a lot of people complained about the Force Unleashed 2 and 1, for that matter, and I actually quite enjoyed those games. As a sort of like action adventure kind of puzzle 3D game.
well, I think was the Force Unleashed, wasn't that the one where you started at Starfleet at the beginning?
No, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was a great game, that one.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed that. And then you end up being his apprentice,
Yeah.
who is somebody who was never seen in the
right.
Star Wars universe. And then you come back in the second one as the clone of his apprentice.
I think the thing with both of those franchises is the expectations are always going to be so high, aren't they? Because the anticipation, I suppose, of because people want to play such a great Star Wars game or Star Trek game that you kind of feel it's never going to quite meet the expectation and the want for that game.
Yeah,
it's a shame, really, isn't it, that we haven't.
They're such massive entities, aren't they? Both of them, really.
I think the thing is that a lot of people knock the prequels. The prequels aren't actually bad. They're certainly better than the sequels. But the prequels were never going to be as good as the original movies. And that's because you weren't 8 anymore.
No.
And you'd seen what they'd done. They'd had to do something completely revolutionary, which George didn't pull that out of the bag for. And to be honest, the sequels were just cash grabs.
Yeah.
That was Disney paying for Star Wars, getting the money back. That's what that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to play a Star Wars game, play Star Wars Racer. of those sort of ilk of games because that one is actually more fun, although not much more nowadays. And then the other, go to the Force Unleashed if you want to play Star Wars. They're the best ones. What I quite liked about the Force Unleashed was the fact that they gave alternate timelines. So you had the choice of becoming, going with Vader to, I think, overthrow Palpatine or something. On there, and it gave you alternate things, and there was also Leia as a Jedi fighting you as well on one of the DLCs on that. There was some good stuff in those games. But...
The original Battlefront games were alright as well, I thought.
Yeah, but they didn't have any story, which I think is also what
like the newer ones as well, really.
Well, the first one, the second one did have
a campaign.
Yeah,
I did play it a bit actually, but
I didn't mind the campaign in Battlefront 2, the new one, and I did complete that twice. But yeah, I think that's what let down Battlefront because visually Battlefront is spot on.
Yeah, and sound and everything they do a really good job on.
Even the controls, but not everybody wants to play 20 versus 20.
No.
Yeah, some of the older Xbox games back in the day, those Star Wars games were, I think, I had more fun out of those. Even some of those that were the ones that you had like spaceships, to fly. And
I was going to say, what was the? I can't remember whether I played it on Xbox, PlayStation, or maybe even Nintendo. But the one where you were piloting the different ships, the different fighters. You had an X-wing and an A-wing.
That was on.
Was that maybe an N64-ish era?
Was that? I think in the Rogue Squadron.
Maybe, yeah. Was that what it was?
That was on Nintendo.
Yeah, it was.
They
were good fun. They were quite good fun.
They were quite good. But I mean, there's been a few other games. Nintendo had like Star Wars Bounty Hunter as well.
Yeah, and they had it was a launch game. I think with the N64, Shadow of the Empire.
Yes. And that was on PC as well. That was a good game. And that was based on the book as well.
Right.
And in terms of the continuity, the ship that appears in there is also in the lineup on the battle at the end of Rogue One, if I remember rightly. And certainly the ship from the Ezra Bridges series, I forgot what it's called. One of the later or the newer ones of the Star Wars animated series.
Right.
The Ghost Rider that appeared in one of the scenes in the movies as well. So there's it's other games like Jedi Outcast, stuff like that. They were good at the time, but they just don't work as well nowadays.
No.
And then you've got Knights of the Old Republic, and that's going to be redone.
Yeah.
There's a new KOTOR on the way, isn't there, supposedly, according to the rumours. So looking forward to that. Anyway, moving on to my last game. My last game is another PlayStation exclusive on the PC. And that is Horizon Zero Dawn. So I've had this for a while. I've just not run it. And I thought this week I want to get myself in. I'm missing because I've been playing loads of games, been completing loads of games, but I've been wanting to get something longer to run in the background. And I hadn't played Horizon Zero Dawn since completing it, and that was when we did the other podcast. So that's how long ago it is. So I booted it up, and my God, I'd forgotten how good this game was. I'd really forgotten how much I enjoyed this game, the story, the look of the game. I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. Again, I have done a couple of streams on this. It's on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I've been playing that for a good few hours now. And I mean, it plays exactly the same way as I remember playing it. The only thing is now I'm playing it with a decent controller because I'm playing it with an Xbox One. But other than that, the graphics of it looks absolutely beautiful. Now, I know there was a lot of concern, problems, people complaining about this game on the PC because evidently it was a buggy mess. Now, I know one or two members of our community have said they never experienced any problems, but I also know that they're on very high-end PCs, or were at the time of release of this, because I think it was about a year or so ago that it came out. And anyway, I'm playing it now, and obviously I'm on a medium high-end PC, on my home machine, and it's running flawlessly. What I would say is, when I've been playing it, unlike other games, the fan hardly speeds up at all. It's just my computer's so quiet while playing it, and it looks so drop dead gorgeous, and thinking, what's going on here, sort of thing. But it's just a beautiful game. It's a great story if you've not played it. I'm looking forward to the sequel, which will be coming out on the PS5, and we'll definitely be playing that one as well. But it's just such a great game, and it's a futuristic. If you've not seen this game, and again, you can't have been looking at YouTube or anything for years.
Where have you been?
Yeah, back to being a hermit without internet access. But basically, it's a futuristic story where humans have sort of like de-evolved technically, but there are now dinosaurs and monsters, but are like massive robots, all over the place. And your thing is that you're trying to find out about your origin, and you've got to clear the corruption in the land and in your DNA in order to be able to open up this door within this mountain, which is like the mother's womb sort of thing, because your character was found in front of this door, but your character had no mother, and it's believed that your mother is at the other side of the door sort of thing, and you need to be able to open it, and by doing so, you have to get rid of all this corruption in the world.
Aloy, isn't it?
Aloy.
Sorry?
The character's called Aloy, isn't she?
Aloy, yeah.
Elo was a race of people in the time machine. Just a coincidence there on something different.
Sorry, I thought Elo was a group. Wasn't it Electric Light Orchestra?
ELO.
ELO.
Oh my word. Eloy was the race of people that survived in the 60s classic time machine film.
Yeah, I think the character's more sort of like Alloy rather than Eloy.
Eloy.
Yeah.
I played this when it was originally released, and
How hard did you get?
I didn't complete it.
No, I didn't either.
It's a massive open world game.
Yeah, and although it's different in terms of, like you just said, the Horizon Zero Dawn is more open world, I actually preferred Tomb Raider. To be honest, the reboots of Tomb Raider, even though they're much more linear.
I think the last one wasn't. No, that was more open world, though, wasn't it?
The Tomb Raider, yeah, a bit, but I guess with most of these games, the story always tends to steer you down a path anyway, just by the nature.
Yeah.
But Horizon Zero Dawn, I played a bit and then stopped. I probably got distracted by someone else, but I don't think it grabbed me hugely. It looked lovely and everything, but
I think sometimes on these games it can take a little while to get into them, because I've tried to get into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and normally
you're all over them like flies around something, aren't you? You're there and in it, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, especially with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that just picked it up. That was it. That was the next 100 hours was me completing that game exclusively, because I played it every moment I could, and it was one of those games that got under my skin, and I was thinking about playing it when I wasn't playing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had a game like that for a long time at the moment, must admit.
No, but I have to say, Horizon Zero Dawn, even though I've completed it, has made me feel like that about it again.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Yeah. So I've, because it's like last night I was playing it until about 3 a.m, got up at 8 o'clock this morning, and then started playing it before my wife got up again. So yeah, every moment I can fit some time in because your save points are like little campfires that are all over the place, and they're quite regular as well. So you just run to the nearest campfire and save. It's got a really weird fast travel system in it because at first, when you're playing it, you have to get these little fast travel sticks or whatever it is that they are, I can't remember. And then it allows you one fast travel. But then you've got to progress in the game and upgrade your skills. And then, or you have to buy something to get an unlimited fast travel bag, which to me just felt like needless grind.
Pointless, isn't it, really?
Yeah. That was the one thing that I didn't like about the game. But I don't know, maybe it's, even though it's like it has been 4 years since I picked this game up, I just felt like I picked it up straight away. I knew what to do, and my mental processes have just been, I can use this trap here. But when I was playing it before, I was thinking, I don't know how to take this one down. Should I use this? Should I use that? But this time I'm much more, I'll do this, do that, bang, Bob's your uncle, done. And I'm really enjoying it as a result.
I think that's the thing with big releases generally, though, is timing, isn't it? And not necessarily the time that they release in the year, but timing with your own personal situation.
It's down to the individual, isn't it? And then that timing.
What where you tend to be in when a game comes out and what you've got on your plate, kind of thing.
See, those sort of games, I've got some games I've got that I've not played yet that came out ages ago, but I still haven't dived into them. And that's on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So a couple of these story-style games, like not The Last of Us, but a couple of those before it, if you're with me, so I did complete that. But there's a couple that came on, I think you get for free within the PlayStation ecosystem. I've got them both on disc.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the games just at the moment because they're not in this room, so they're next door. But and there's the other game to do with is it the Humans, Detroit? Remember that PlayStation game?
Detroit Become Human, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't finished that yet, and I really should do because
that's dead easy.
I did enjoy it.
That's a dead easy one to finish. Is that one? And did you know you can kill one of the characters off before you finish the game?
I'm trying to remember where I got to because I think was it Lance Henriksen who plays one of the characters, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I met him, and but that is a really good game, and I'm disappointed with myself. I think I still own it disc-wise, and that came on there.
That's a very much her whatever it is, anthology sort of type game or Until Dawn kind of play is that game though.
Yeah, which I adored that. I must admit that's one of my. I think if I've got a top game on the PlayStation, I'll
tell you what you should do. You should play Beyond Two Souls.
Well, that's one of them. That's one of the ones I've got, which I haven't played yet.
And presumably the other one you haven't played, then is Heavy Rain.
They're on the same disc. I've got them together in the disc.
Get those put in your PlayStation, Steve. You will enjoy them.
Because I do like story-based games, that sort of idea.
Yeah, you will enjoy that, and particularly about Beyond Two Souls, I think. I think you'll probably enjoy that one more than the other. Because Heavy Rain's about a murder or a serial killer, whereas Beyond Two Souls more sort of like supernatural horror kind of thing.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a few of the games I've got to play at some point but I've got to be in the mood for it. That is the problem.
Do you find you put them off also? You're more likely to put off a game if you know it's quite a big, involving campaign as well.
I think it can depend. I mean, going to what I've been playing, I've just downloaded the 3 BioShock games back on the Xbox, and I've started the remake of the first one. It looks great in HDR. It plays as well as it played before, and I just love the game. It's something I'd love to see a reboot and back on. We could see another game that is rumoured to be around in the future. And I haven't looked at the other two, even though I've just downloaded them all. The remake of, well, not the remake, I suppose. Is it a remake? Isn't it? The upgraded a bit. So BioShock 2 as well I've put on there. And BioShock 3, which is a great game. I don't know if you guys have played that one at all.
Yeah.
Is that Infinite?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've played that.
And then you have to play the DLC.
No,
because if you haven't, you need to play the one. I can't really say. I can't spoil it, but there's one piece of DLC on that is
that Darth Vader moment.
It is, yeah, it is that Darth Vader moment, and it's fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I don't know if you probably pick it up cheap, but it's worth even downloading it and playing that DLC.
Well, if you get the complete edition, which is relatively cheap, I think, to buy, used, then Infinite comes in it, the updated edition, so you'll get all the DLC as well.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, funny enough, just behind me, I was just having a look because I've been swapping stuff around. I've got 110 gig free, so there's enough space there for MLB to show. But something else I've just put on there is No Man's Sky.
Oh, we were talking about that the other week, weren't we, Mark?
Yeah.
And
Game Pass again.
Yeah.
I do own it though. Actually, I do actually own it.
I own it on PlayStation, but not on Xbox.
Yeah,
I own it on 3 platforms.
I mean,
I've got it on Game Pass.
I just actually booted up while you were chatting there, and there's a lot of stuff that's come out of nowhere because I've not really played it. And
it's a totally different game now, Steve. It's got the original game at its core still, and that was one that I platinumed back in the day when it was released. But now there is so much more, and there's the new Expeditions update on that as well, which we talked about last week. So there's a lot of updates on there. It's really well worth going. My son and I have been playing that 2-player.
And it probably looks gorgeous as well on the Series X.
It does.
Is that 2-player co-op or?
Yeah, 2-player co-op.
Online?
Well, it's online, but basically we're playing Expeditions, but you can just carry on doing the story. We started new characters, and we both started with our ships next to each other, both broke down, which is exactly the same way as the game starts. So
you could actually help each other out to get going, because that was a bit tedious, I thought.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's what put me off.
I think the thing is with No Man's Sky is a lot of it, I think, for some people depend upon what planet you start off on, because some planets are planet hells that you start off on, and other ones are relatively all right. And if you have never played it before and you start off on planet hell, you're not going to enjoy that game. If that happens, just start another game and you'll be put on another random planet. And if that one is like the same, just do it again, and eventually you will, you've got 14 quintillion planets to choose from. So eventually you're going to find a planet that's relatively mild and easy to start off with, to just give you that gentler bit of curve. Because you can go to some planets and the temperature's like 120 degrees and your environmental suit power will zoom down. And all that you're doing is fighting to be able to find resources to just feed your environmental suit the power to keep you alive, which doesn't allow you to progress for the rest of the game. And that it was a bit of bad design in terms of the game, was that.
And there is a permadeath. Why do you want to play it as permadeath? I do not know. That's
for a masochist.
Because there was 4 modes, I just noticed. Then it was the normal story, multiplayer, permadeath, and there was another one I can't remember.
Creativity mode or whatever it is, where you get us all the resources that you want, because you can build bases and stuff like that in the game now as well. But yeah, that to me, Hello Games, they're the unsung heroes of the gaming industry, because they did release a product that wasn't fit for purpose in terms of the description that they gave the game, but they've made it into that over time. And more.
Yeah.
And the other game I've been playing, I've been playing Outer Worlds, so I've been getting back into that.
I tried that a couple of months ago. That's the you start by crashing onto a planet, and you're kind of it's not really cell shaded, but it's a little bit shiny, isn't it, graphically?
I don't know about that. I mean, it looks gorgeous on the X.
Yeah.
It's not got the Series X update like some of the games have, but when you come out of the rock and the cave area after meeting the first person you see, it looks amazing. It really does.
You go to the town, don't you? You go into that little town.
Because you've got a ship there, and you've got to repair your ship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's a little bit of humour in that game, isn't there?
Because
that game felt to me like it was trying to copy Borderlands in terms of its sort of story humour arc, but make it try pretend it wasn't.
Right.
I felt it was more like a Bethesda game to a certain degree.
That
personally.
probably explains why I only played it for a very short amount of time.
I didn't play it a lot
Honestly,
either.
I've got off the planet. I've got a priest. I've got this girl engineer with me. Have I got 3 people? Yeah, I've got 3 people with me now on the ship that I can use as companion when I'm out and about.
That sounded like a joke, Steve.
It does. Yeah.
I've got a priest, an engineer, and me on a ship.
Yeah.
What's the punchline, Steve?
Yeah, but it isn't a bad game actually. Honestly, it's well worth it if you haven't. If you want to just dig in and have a browse at it. It's not a bad game. Under the hood.
I remember there was a storyline where you had to turn the power on, but you had to decide whether to go to the kind of new community or to the town.
Yes, now I've done that again, that piece, and yeah, because what they do is there's a load of people living out in the main town, and they're this is I will spoil this by now, but they're actually foraging for dead bodies for plant base to grow their crop.
Nice.
And you've got this other guy who's a bit of a bully that runs a plant in the town, and you either do something for them or you've got that choice to make.
Yeah, that's I did that, and I think that's pretty much where I stopped.
But actually, when I thought I should need to do it the other way, I actually did spin it on a coin a bit. And I actually persuaded that nasty guy to leave the plant so the others could come back. And the only reason I did this, now obviously you know this from Fallout, I put a load of points on persuasion. So that was giving me a big advantage in the game personally. I do love that idea that you can do that. And obviously when you got your communication, you got your choices that you got there. And then some are highlighted because I've got a high persuasion.
Right.
I get more XP and get a nice a different route to take on that story as well from that point of view. I could have probably killed him if I didn't, but then that could have caused the world of hurt. But I was able to persuade him to go so the others can come back as well. So I'd recommend looking at that again if you need to play something that, obviously we've got some MLB coming up, but it's a good game. Again, it's too much because you've got Game Pass now. There's so many games there. You might want to think, I'll try a bit of this, try a bit of that. Where if you didn't have that before, you might have stuck with one game and probably completed it all.
Yeah, if we're all still buying our games.
Quick question about that. Actually, thinking about buying games. Obviously, next month is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Are either of you two guys getting it?
Nah, not me.
I don't know. I have pre-ordered the vinyl trilogy album.
Yeah.
I saw that. I thought,
we saw your tweets.
I have to have that, but I'm going to wait.
Right.
I want to see what happened. I got burnt with Andromeda, even though I have tried going back to it, and it's probably going to be okay now.
I assume they're back compatible. Are they?
Well, this is being re.
No, I know, but if you wanted to play them now, you could.
Oh
play
yeah, I've got the back compat versions here on my library. But this would be a remastered. I think
shiny new.
Yeah, and they've improved the cover system as well, which was a bit clunky.
Yeah.
So I mean, Did it come out? Haydn's already pre-ordered it, haven't you?
No, I haven't. But
I'm surprised. I thought you would have done.
I've been humming and hawing because the reason why I'm asking is I'm humming and hawing about what format to play it on, and the reason why I'm humming and hawing is obviously it's EA. So although it gets released, it won't go straight to Game Pass. At some point, it's going to come on a Game Pass.
You would have thought so.
Yeah, and so. Also, you would have thought, using that same logic, that the PC version would also come onto Game Pass. So I'm actually in the position of, I'm thinking, I'm going to buy it PS5 and then wait for Game Pass so I can play it on Xbox.
Do you have EA access on PlayStation still? PS5?
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's got to be coming to that, surely.
One would have thought so.
Not necessarily release time, but
I think this is going to be. We're talking months down the line, though.
Oh yeah,
months and months and months.
But what I'm thinking, because I know what I'm like. If this is as good as what it used to be, I'll want to play it on every format, basically. So
you're going to double dip anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is, if I buy it on PlayStation 5 and then I get diverted onto other stuff after I've completed because don't forget, there's 3 games to complete. It's going to be 100 hours plus completion for those 3 games. So after I've blitzed those 3 games, then there'll be other stuff that I'll be playing, and then a couple of months later they'll start coming on to Game Pass for either Xbox or Xbox and PC. And if they don't come on Xbox, or if they don't come on PC, then CD keys will have it dirt cheap by then anyway. So I'm just sort of like thinking, PlayStation is actually the logical place for me to buy it, because it will come on Game Pass at some point, probably be a year. But
you know what? The price of it at the moment is going to be $59.99 for standard people. If you have EA Play with Game Pass, it's $53.99. Now that isn't bad.
No, I think that's value
for those 3 games.
I still want to, but I'm holding back because I want to see how the reviews go.
Yeah.
Because when is this, a month away now?
But my point is that Game Pass is making me think different about my purchasing habits.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely,
definitely, yeah.
Now, but there's some.
Sorry, go on.
I was just about to say, some games I purchased have gone to Game Pass. Some of those games will come away from Game Pass. Now, you will get the option to buy them in Game Pass and get a reduction. So it depends if it's a game that you forget about Game Pass because it's one of those games you want to own anyway.
Yeah.
Where there's another 99 games out there that you'd never dreamed of actually purchasing.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I was going to purchase MLB The Show. That was a given.
Me too. I would have done before they announced it was coming to Game Pass.
And I was still looking at it and hovering over the click buy button many times.
I mean,
yeah.
In terms of, because I know that PC has the heavier outlay in terms of buying the equipment, but then again, you are buying something that's multi-use. But I'm just looking on CD keys now, and Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition digital code, is $34.99.
Was that PC though, is it?
Yeah.
Well, PC's always cheap anyway.
Well, no, not always. But you'd be surprised, actually. Recently, PC games have been launch title have not been such a big difference. The industry sort of like picked up on it a little bit, but this is $34.99 at the moment, and I'm sort of like, do I go straight to PC, or do I think logically and say I do the PC version last, because by then I'll probably pick it up on a Humble Bundle or something like that, and it'll be in the monthly choice or something, or it might be a free game on Epic. Get it on PlayStation first, because it's not going to appear on PlayStation now, I wouldn't have thought. And that would only be in a year's time anyway. And I don't do EA Access on PC.
No.
Because of Game Pass, EA Access on my Xbox. So when I want to go second round of this, buy it out, get it on Game Pass, when it's released on there, and play it again.
Yeah.
That to me seems to be the best way of doing it in terms of the setup I've got.
I'm on CD keys now, and the Legendary Edition isn't available for the Xbox on there.
No, yet. That's coming at some point.
Yeah, so $34.99. Yeah, but that if this all goes well and I'm hearing good reports, I will want to pick it up. Now, I don't mind picking this sort of game up because it's one that if you play it on Game Pass at some point, we're talking 6 months down the line, maybe more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sort
as I'm saving with MLB The Show anyway, it's a win-win from that point of view.
Yeah. I
haven't bought a game. The last game I bought was the F1 game, and I got that on CD keys really cheap. Since then, before then, I haven't really purchased anything.
Do you have one thing my kids do, my son especially, he will download a game on Game Pass, but then buy the DLC.
Yeah.
And then, if the game gets taken out of Game Pass, he has to buy the game, yeah. But
you do get, on Game Pass, you do get discount if you want to purchase that game.
Yeah.
And if you've got any reward points, if you're up and date with that, I mean, I use mine for the Ultimate Game Pass. That's why I normally use them now. I use that every time I get enough for another month. I'll just put them on there.
Yeah.
Thinking about what kids do. I was actually quite shocked at what my son's started doing. Is he's got into rhythm action games, or as I like to call them, fast quick time event games. And he's got this game and he's modded it. And the reason why he's modded it is he wanted to speed it up because it wasn't fast enough. And I'm not kidding you. I was looking and I was thinking, I can barely see what key is supposed to be pressing. And he showed us playing it, and I was sort of like, Jesus, I couldn't even have done that at your age. God Almighty.
You see, there's another game. There's another game I want as well. That's the unfortunate thing, and that is going to be Resident Evil: The Village. Mm-hmm. So I might say I could hold on for that. I mean, when's that coming out again? 7th of the 5th. That's in May as well. Yeah. But it's very difficult.
Well, anyway, that's what I've decided. I'm going to buy it on PlayStation rather than Xbox because of Game Pass.
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration now, though, isn't it? When you go to buy a game, I think. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's not a bad consideration to have.
No,
but I just don't see the point in buying it on Xbox and then to get it free later on Xbox, even if it's for a limited time. I'd much rather complete it and keep it on PlayStation.
Did you guys know that there's a new Life is Strange coming out?
Yeah.
That's the third one, is it?
Second.
Called True Colours. I'm just in the menu at the moment.
It's there is Life is Strange too, but it's isn't it different characters this time?
This one is, just looking at the trailer, it's above it at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, because there's been 3 Life is Strange games, hasn't there?
Yeah.
One was sort of like a follow-up to the other, and then 2 which had one of the characters from the first one, and now this is someone completely new.
Yeah, and also the F1 game I was talking about is coming out on the 13th of the 7th, because that's in there.
That's July. That's a little way, yeah.
But they normally come, I thought they used to come back November time, normally.
I don't remember.
It's people say there ain't any games coming out on the Xbox. Well, plenty there to choose.
Shall I go with what I've been playing?
Yeah. Far away.
Okay, so I've been persevering in Wreckfest, still playing it, and it's starting to get more difficult. I've said last week that I haven't really looked at the upgrade mechanic much, but I think I'm going to have to start getting into that, because the speed is not so much the issue, it's more the fact that you get beaten up. But that is one of the frustrating things about the game as well. I don't know what about you guys, but if I'm in a 4-race championship, I like to finish first in every race, or at least in the top 2 or 3. And if I don't, I'll start the race again, like just restart.
Yeah, so will I.
And I'm finding now so many times, I think it's more to do with the way they've progressed the track design, because so many times now you'll be in the lead going round with maybe 2 corners to go in the last lap, and you'll just get tipped out on the back of your car and it'll spin you, and you'll end up 10th or 12th out of 15, 16 cars. And you literally almost won the race. So it is getting a bit frustrating, but you just have to, as part of the appeal, I think, you just have to kind of learn the game and the way you can stay out of trouble. It is. I'm still really enjoying it. It is. I had one race today where I can't remember. They kind of name each race. I can't quite remember it, but you were driving a Reliant Robin three-wheeler, and you were the only car in the race. The rest were just coaches. They even had a couple of bendy buses in there, and it was just on an oval track, and it's just fun. And you basically had to try and survive the race 6 laps on an oval track and try and finish first. It was just fantastic. Really, I like the kind of the innovation on the races and the way they're thinking. It's really clever design. And I've been playing more Outriders, and I think this game is starting to lose me now.
Really?
I'm just I've done a few side quests. I beat the boss up at the top of the tower that fires the electric at you. You know the guy? Mm-hmm. Have you done that yet?
Yeah.
And I I've done another one after that, like a side quest, and I'm just finding it quite repetitive now. You know, it's becoming more. The more I play it, I'm finding it more. The same reasons I never really got on well with Gears are coming to light now in this game. The story's not really gripping me enough to keep me interested, and I don't think I'm done on it yet, but the appeal is starting to wear off, I think, with this game. It's open up more areas, do the fast traveling if you want to, that kind of thing. But yeah, and I'm upgrading my weapons, I'm getting better armor, all of that kind of normal thing. But it's the grind of that I think is losing me a bit. And other than that, I've just been playing my PGA, a bit of FIFA, and a bit of Skyrim. Now, Steve, you said, was it Skyrim you said you were modding? Mm-hmm. You'd started a new character. I am right in thinking you can only have one saved game per profile on Xbox, can't you?
You can have more than one saved game.
What?
Because I've got a modded, like on Fallout as well, I've got the original character which I use for achievements. I've now got a separate saved game which is a modded game.
So you can have separate characters on the same profile. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to start it again.
Mod it out completely. Get some cheats and mods going that you want just to
that's what I'm going to do. And really, what I'm most interested in seeing is whether how people are changing the graphics. I know you can get mods with that change NPC behaviour and make your movement more realistic, that kind of thing.
There is. Plus, also there's. I'll have to. If I can find that YouTube video I was looking at, I'll send it over to you. But you can actually improve the streets, the roads, the greenery, the aesthetics of the whole game, and it just looks a new game because it's that improved.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to get on that this week. I think just start a new character because. And also what I've done in the past, whatever I've set out to become, I always end up being just a bit of a warrior. This time actually around, I pretty much exclusively just use the bow. Right. Even up close and personal, it's just bow and shouts. That's it. And it's because I'm so leveled up now, and I've got one of the best bows in the game.
But you can actually put all that into place to start the game if you really wanted to. You could.
But I just want to try something different, like a mage or something like that.
Yeah, well, I love the mage idea. I love to do.
And just see what I can get it looking like, and see if I can make it slightly, different.
And when you eventually do get a Series X, you will see even more improvement.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. But we shall see.
Especially that 60 frames per second and all that,
Yeah, very much so.
Good.
Mark, did you say you have a 1X or a 1?
Both. In this room I'm in now, I've got a 1S. And in my main room in the house on the 4K TV and everything, I've got a 1X. And then the kids have got one, just regular Xbox Ones upstairs. But so I'm going to order a Series X as soon as I see one available, to be honest. So
there is a mod. I don't think I could find it or not. There is one mod that actually will stop some of the, opening doors in villages. The mod there to actually cut all that out, so
that's
you
good.
Just walk in it.
Save yourself 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, and even though the startup page, even for me, is seconds away anyway. I'm not sitting there watching that whatever it's going to be spinning around for hours while you're waiting for it to load. It's only there for a few seconds, so get Haydn. We'll get Haydn to a Bethesda game one day, back in it.
I completed Oblivion.
Yeah, but that's the one you thought your character's still in the wall somewhere with another one, isn't
it? Well, on numerous different saves.
Yeah.
But, together with the upside down, backwards flying dragons and that sort of stuff.
Have you tried online, Elder Scrolls Online, Steve?
I have. I do own it. I need to probably actually go back and try that maybe because
I'm the same. I own it and I have dabbled, but I've never really got into it yet.
It might be worth doing that together then, just for a bit of fun maybe.
Why not?
I do have it as well.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, I have the collector's edition with the statue and the book and all of that as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a disc version.
No, I've just got it digitally.
But it's had a lot of, that's had a lot of tweaks.
Yeah, a lot of updates, a lot of expansions as well.
Some of the expansions are now free, I think. Some of the older ones, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know whether it was on Game Pass, wasn't it, I think?
May well be. I'm not too sure.
Have a look.
I think it is, actually.
Yeah, I think it was.
It's now one of the 20 games.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
That came out. And when you... give me a second, I'll just double check. Go to there. Show all. Just go down.
Yeah, it's there. It goes back to Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 3, then you've got Oblivion, Skyrim, and online.
Yeah, so yeah, really good. Anyway, we're all done. We need to move on quickly because I do like to have some dinner tonight before the midnight comes to an end.
Carry on.
Okay, so we'll dive into movies, TVs, and streaming.
In quest of a better life.
Okay, who put the news in? Who wants to do that? I've got a little bit of news to add to that.
I put the news in. So first off, we've got Wolverine in Expanse and MCU. Giant Freaking Robot's trusted and proven insider is claiming that Marvel Studios are indeed looking for an actor to play the Wolverine in the MCU universe. And according to the source's outlet, one of the named stars is Taron Egerton of Kingsman and Eddie the Eagle fame, as well as Rocketman. He's been brought up several times. However, an insider claims that he might not look like they might not be able to nab him, but because of that, they're starting to look outwards, and one of the other actors in consideration is McCoy from the Kelvin timeline, Carl Urban. Now, I thought Carl Urban and Hugh Jackman were of a similar age. So if that's the case, let's just have Hugh back.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything about with Carl Urban. Carl Urban's really good, but Carl, you need to focus on Judge Dredd. We want to see that.
I don't think he's not quite up to Hugh Jackman age, is he? I think Hugh Jackman's older than you might think.
I thought that there was only a few years between them.
So Carl Urban is 48.
Hugh Jackman's 52. So it's 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's a comparable sort of age.
Definitely.
It does make a difference, doesn't it?
I mean, in terms of that, that's 2 movies at the most.
Yeah, at the most. Very most.
So, in terms of that's why you would think Taron Egerton would be the logical choice, because he's, in his early 30s?
Yeah, much younger, comparatively.
Let's see how old he is. 31, yeah. So, there he could potentially outrun Hugh Jackman in terms of being the Wolverine.
Taron Egerton's 31 and he looks about 20 on those pictures I've just seen.
Yeah, to be fair, though, they probably are when he was 20.
No, that was 2019, that one. I've just seen.
Well, then he would have been 29, so yeah, that's all right then. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to when the X-Men come into the universe, but I kind of wonder, why do we have to have an overlap between the X-Men and the rest of the MCU at all? Why not just have 2 MCUs? One is the X-Men, one is, because as movies, they've cohabited side by side, even though they've been Sony and Disney for a long time, and now that they're all just Disney. Personally, I'd be quite happy for them to just keep the X-Men separate, but there we go.
Disney doing Disney crap is normal now. Is what they're just doing, I think.
Is it just for kids, Steve? Disney
what?
Now. Disney now.
No, Disney.
That's only when it gets put onto Nintendo games.
Yeah, on the Switch.
Disney. I've got no problem with Disney, but I think as a corporation, they're not as great as they used to be. I think they're a little bit money grabbing now.
But it's a different world, isn't it?
I know, that's the unfortunate thing, and I think what they're doing to some franchises, they're destroying them. I think.
They have been destroying Star Wars, but I think that the directors and whatever who are coming in under Kathleen Kennedy are fighting back now with the Mandalorian stuff like that. But they've certainly destroyed, the trilogy of trilogies of Star Wars, the whole saga, by what they've done.
And what they're buying up now from the Fox side of things as well, I just think they're going to be cash cowing a few things as well. We'll see.
Yeah. The other side of the coin as well is Strange New World. There's been an interview with Goldsman, and it's been confirmed that this is going to be a much more episodic, self-contained story of the week kind of adventure for Captain Christopher Pike et al. Basically, they're going to try and make it look a lot more closer to the original series. And when you look at Discovery Season 2, they had similar but very sort of like somewhere between the Discovery uniform and the original series uniform. And evidently they're going to try and make that much more towards the original series, which I think will be good.
Yeah.
And a new trailer is expected soon.
Did any, I know maybe Mark you wouldn't have done, but Haydn, did you watch any of the stuff for First Contact Day? Did you see any of that? I did post a couple of bits on it.
No, I didn't. It was a bit of a busy week last week with my mother-in-law coming home. There
was a great conversation between John DeLance and Patrick Stewart talking about the next series of the card, because Will Wheaton introduced him onto the stream.
Yes, because Q's going to be on it. I'll tell you what,
nice.
LeVar Burton as well. LeVar Burton will be on this one.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Is it rumoured, isn't it?
There have been rumours, but just like there were rumours about Q, John Delancey returning to the series, but I know
I was surprised
LeVar's one.
They would have done that on the First Contact.
No, I don't think they will, because they'll do it as another surprise, or they'll just throw him in without letting anybody know. Because at the moment, he's concentrating on trying to get Jeopardy in America. Is LeVar Burton to be the next presenter of Jeopardy?
Right.
But I think that he'll reprise his role, I think more in a Jonathan Frakes sort of way, for a single episode sort of thing, whereas I think Q is going to be the underlying bad.
Oh, just listen to the way they chat, and they can't say too much about it. It's very, does sound very good because I just love Q. His sarcasms and everything else is just brilliant.
Yeah, and it's, I think, supposed to be a follow-up to Encounter at Farpoint and All Good Things.
But we shall see. But he was on his boat in the stream, by the way. It's quite funny. He was sitting down in the bow of his boat or whatever. But
I saw a clip of it later on because you could see his radio in the background.
Yeah. Can I just put one bit of news in?
Yeah.
It's a bit of sad news. Now, Felix Seeler has passed away at the age of 84 with pancreatic cancer. And probably some of you might look a bit blank in the face who this guy is. Any thoughts? Did he come to mind?
I know the name. I'm trying to think.
No.
Well, he was Twinkie in Buck Rogers in the 25th Century.
Yeah.
And he played Cousin It, and he was a Thelosian in Star Trek. So, real shame. I mean, apparently Gil Gerard did a tweet expressing his sadness about it. But yeah, he's because he was a little bit short, wasn't he? Bless him.
Yeah.
So he'd done loads of stuff. He'd been in Batman Returns, and he's
been in a lot of things.
Return of the Jedi. He's just done a stuff.
Yeah, no doubt it was an Ewok.
Yeah.
Yeah, bless him.
Was he in Time Bandits as well?
He was in The Golden Child. He was in Poltergeist, Batman Returns, Spaceballs, House, Dukes of Hazzard.
Got around a bit.
Mork and Mindy.
Jobbing actor.
Yeah,
he was in The Brood, actually. Oh, of course. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, because there was the kids in that. It's one of my favourite movies. Battlestar Galactica. He was in the Kentucky Fried movie. Was he? Interesting. I'll have to double check on that. Yeah, great resume there of movies.
I mean, obviously, on the subject of death, obviously in this country we've had, a member of the monarchy die with Prince Philip. Did you see that the BBC had received 100,000 complaints about the BBC's coverage of it, saying that they shouldn't have been doing it and stuff like that?
Who were those people, though? Who were they? I think there's very much a disrespect to...
Yeah, it is. Terrible disrespect.
Yeah, the kind of flip side, though, was on Instagram I saw, do you know David Baddiel?
Yeah.
He put a post on, and it was basically words to the effect of, I think we've let the Queen down, because they stated that there wasn't going to be much fuss, or they didn't want much fuss made of Prince Philip's funeral, and yet the coverage on the BBC was just blanket Prince Philip.
Do you think? I mean, for me though, because Prince Philip, he had an undefined role within the royal family, and he had the Duke of Edinburgh's award. Who I used to do the admin for that years ago when I worked in the youth service, and stuff like that as well. But he did an awful lot, and I know that the Queen maybe didn't want, and neither did Prince Philip, evidently want a lot of pomp and fuss. But I think that there are a lot of royalists, and I'm by no means a royalist, but I'm also by no means not a royalist. I am just, the royal family is part of our culture, full stop. Americans don't, no disrespect to any Americans, but, being a member of the royal family is not like being Kim Kardashian. It's not the same thing.
No, but there's a lot more respect as well from the Americans. They love the idea of the monarchy. They'd love to have something like that in their history.
Yeah, it's basically, it's more like having a president for life that doesn't make any political decisions. So it's basically exactly like having a president, because Congress makes the decisions in America. Yeah. But in terms of it, I think while the BBC did make a lot of fuss, what they were doing is showing great respect to the work that he did.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Some people were moaning that when it actually happened, all BBC radio channels were all tuned into one broadcast, talking about his life and everything else, and like my missus who enjoyed watching The Crown was telling me more that I didn't know about. And even though I did listen to some of it while I was on the road that day, it's just very interesting to see what he actually did. And I know the talk of, he was born in Crete, and we've got a German descendant within that, which is that's neither here nor there, to be honest. But there's going to be a few things like this in the coming years. We're going to, at some point, the Queen will pass away herself, bless her. She's really old, and, this could actually topple her a bit, this happening to her, bless her. And when that happens, there will be a damn sight more coverage. And there will be a blanket radio TV that will be going on for the whole day.
Well, we will officially be in a national state of mourning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we'll have whoever will take over that position, there will be a coronation.
And and there will, because then it's sort of like the Queen is dead, long live the King, sort of thing. But I do feel that, thank God, that even though that this has happened, they still respected the law in terms of this, because it would have been very easy for Boris to say, oh well, we'll give an exception because it's the Queen and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they kept it within the castle itself and not go out on the streets and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. But they also kept with the limited number and social distancing and everything. They did everything the way that every other family has had to cope with it in this. And that, because this is the royal family. If anyone was going to get a bye, it would be the royal family. And thank God that they did it, because I think that would have made it so sour for so many people. And I think that, that was such a good thing that they did.
And I've seen all sorts of bits and pieces regarding this, and I think it's just a total disrespect for what we have in the UK. I'm going to say the UK now, not just England.
Yeah, it's the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And the Commonwealth as well. Don't forget, it's the entire Commonwealth. Yeah, so I was appalled, and evidently it's the most complaints that the BBC have ever had on anything.
So were people complaining because they just thought it was too much coverage, basically?
Or didn't want the coverage, or didn't think that he was worth celebrating, or whatever.
And that's ridiculous, isn't it?
If they were moaning because they weren't watching their TV programmes, or whatever, there's damn sight other places they can go to for TV to watch these days. It's not like you've only got 4 channels.
Wasn't some of the complaints that MasterChef final was cancelled?
Well, it was rescheduled, wasn't it?
Rescheduled,
I haven't got to the end yet, to be honest. I'm still under semi-finals, but because we watch it. But so what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a massive chunk of your life, is it? Let's just give some respect, really.
I think that the thing is, whether or not you like the monarchy or not, and a lot of people who don't like the monarchy can understand that, because some people are against the whole ethos of it. But the fact is, it's part of British society. If you're British, you have a monarch. That's it. Whether or not you like it or not, that's it. And everybody, it's just think about if it was your family, and just about just having the respect of of not being insulted at that point. Just sheer human decency if it's a family that's gone through mourning.
And ultimately, it's still it's the Queen, obviously, but she's still a 90-odd-year-old woman whose husband for however many years has just died.
But it's also Prince Philip has made an impact on society, on a lot of people in a lot of different areas, stuff like that.
Within
loved
communities,
him, whether or not within communities, people loved him. Some people needed that closure as well, and it's having a respect for the people who maybe he didn't, touch in that sort of, in any way, you as a person, but it's obviously affected other people.
Has affected communities, and some of the things that, like you were talking about there. There was these awards he was given within the movie industry regarding that as well. I mean, I remember seeing when I was doing a podcast with Wrong Wheel regarding Hamahara, and that award, they got that award themselves as for a company, and it's just a lot of respect you get for that. It just astounds me at some people. It really does.
Yeah, the lack of compassion, I think, is disappointing.
Anyhow,
yeah.
Should we shift gears into
releases?
Blu-ray? Yeah.
Shall I?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, so 19th of April onwards, this is. We've got Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery on Blu-ray, Beach Volleyball Detectives on DVD, the Bong Joon-ho collection, which is Barking Dogs Never Bite, Memories of Murder, The Host, Mother, Snowpiercer, Parasite, and Parasite in black and white, I assume that is it? Mm. That's coming out on Blu-ray. Clannad and Clannad After Story Complete Collection on limited edition Blu-ray and regular Blu-ray. County Lines Blu-ray and DVD box set. Doctor Who Series 8 Steelbook, which is the Blu-ray and the DVD. Dreamland with Margot Robbie on DVD. Flight of the Navigator on Blu-ray, one from my childhood, that is. Mm. I Start Counting on Blu-ray, In Bruges in Blu-ray, IP Man Kung Fu Master on Blu-ray and DVD.
That is a good movie.
Paranoia Agent Collector's Edition on Blu-ray, Raw Limited Edition Blu-ray, Sexy Time Trip Ninjas on DVD. That sounds like a classic already.
That sounds so like one of the old 70s movies of the ones we did then with the window cleaner sort of stuff, Confessions of or something like that.
Straight Shooting and Hellbent, two films collection by John Ford on Blu-ray, Switchblade Sisters on Blu-ray, The Garden of Torment Blu-ray, Sumugi, The Secret in the Attic on DVD, Urban Legend Trilogy Deluxe Limited Edition Blu-ray, and Willy's Wonderland on Blu-ray and DVD. That's going right there with Sexy Time Trip Ninjas. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple there for me. Urban Legend Trilogy, pretty cool. Raw, again, that is a fantastic one as well. I think that's with Second Sight actually as well, that one there. But yeah, I'm still waiting for my Xavi have dispatched my 4K version of Suspiria, but it still hasn't turned up yet. So Haydn knows how they dispatch sometimes. It seems to be a slow coach journey, isn't it?
To be honest, Xavi seemed to give all of my deliveries to an asthmatic ant with a bad sense of direction.
I mean, it's dispatched. I'm waiting for it to come in the post.
It's all right as long as you're not in a hurry for something.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine. I know the film inside out, and I just really can't wait to stick that in and see that. As it is, that movie has got so much Technicolor in it from the director point of view, and to actually have that in all its glory in 4K as well, it should look eye-poppingly amazing.
Sorry, Steve, are you talking about Sexy Time Trip Ninjas?
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Or Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah, that must be a double bill, isn't it?
No, that's just Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah. Anyway, so Blu-ray DVD. I'll do this one today. So from 2 down to 5, we've got Soul. From 10 up to 4, we've got Tenant. Re-entry with AI, artificial intelligence. Up from 7 to 2, we've got Harry Potter, the complete collection. And for some unknown reason, Wonder Woman 1984 is still top of the tree.
I thought you loved Wonder Woman.
No, I do love Wonder Woman, but I think that movie's a bit of a poor Wonder Woman movie, to be honest. I don't actually own that.
Well, we've only got 2.
Yeah, but the first one's brilliant. And
Yeah.
but we don't forget that she's great in Zack Snyder's 4 Hour Glory. I've got it. I've seen it in black and white now as well. So
Yeah, do you know what? The only thing that's different is it's slow motion in black and white.
yeah,
And
don't mock it. Don't mock it. I've got to try and find the soundtrack somewhere. Yeah, I know it's meant to be on vinyl, so I might give it a miss. But
You've got AI in the charts as well, which is Spielberg again, isn't it?
yeah, I didn't like that film.
I quite liked it.
Is that the one with Jude Law?
Mm.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time ago, I saw that. Very long time ago.
What is weird now is seeing a guy who was the kid in it, and he's now a grown up, and he's got a big beard, and he's a big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I have got something to talk about, but I haven't written it in yet. But Haydn, do you want to kick us off with?
Okay, well, I have this.
How many discs is there, by the way?
9.
9 discs.
And what's the quality like?
9 Blu-rays.
How many seasons is that?
2 seasons.
2.
Yeah, so I might be 10 discs actually. No, 9. 10. So that's the box set. And the only reason why I got it was because for my Christmas, for my birthday present rather, I got a £50 Amazon voucher. So I thought, well, that's pennies from heaven. It was. How much was it? I had to add 20 quid to it.
Oh, you didn't really?
Wow.
Really? Wow. The DVD set is 50, but I wanted it on Blu-ray because we're saying, oh, it's a good, remaster of it, sort of thing. I think I might as well have just bought the DVD version. To be fair,
is it not, really? Did you notice it?
It's not significant, not enough. For,
Can you? I'd love to know. Can you actually have this in its native origin?
No.
That's a shame. I'd love to have subtitles up.
But what is really weird is that even though it's the English version, it's been all dubbed in English, and it's it's got Masaki Sakai and all of that lot doing all of the the voiceovers or the voiceovers of those actors. All of the writing that appears on the screen is in Chinese.
Oh, really?
Yeah. which is really weird. So, I mean, if you've never come across Monkey, because this, for me, Monkey was what my dad and I used to watch. I used to sit on the rocking chair in the living room and go like the clappers to the, the Monkey theme tune. Which
I had the theme tune on 7-inch vinyl.
Oh man, I wish I would.
I don't know where. I mean, I haven't still got it, but I did buy it as a kid. Yeah.
While you're chatting, let me look on Discogs and I'll let you know.
Yeah, because I want that. Definitely, absolutely love the theme tune. But this to me was a Friday night, 6 o'clock, sitting on the rocking chair, going like the clappers, while watching all of the kung fu action, because you never got kung fu action. When we were that
launching his cloud.
70, yeah, the and all of that sort of thing. But it's the story of Journey to the West, which is a Chinese novel, which the game Enslaved Journey to the West was also based on as well. And obviously that's got the titular character of Monkey in that game, and Tripitaka. What I always used to love about this is the fact that Tripitaka, who is a boy monk, is played by a girl.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a bald girl.
A bald girl, but still a very attractive bald girl, you have to admit. But basically, the story is a monkey who's a god and given a title of great sage, equal of heaven, is looked down upon by other gods, given meaningless sort of jobs to do, causes a lot of upset in heaven. He then gets cast out down to earth and is given 500 years of being imprisoned in a mountain. And and also 2 other people, Pigsy, who's a pig god, and Sandy, who's a fish god, also get cast out of heaven. And then 500 years later, after the punishment, they are sent on a trip to accompany a young boy priest, Tripitaka, to go on a quest from Buddhavista Gunyin to fetch the Holy Scriptures, which is what the whole story is about. And along the way, they've got
all
to
sounds
battle
completely crazy what you're talking about, and they're going to go, I haven't got a Scooby Doo what this is all about.
But it's a
It all
Chinese
makes
sort of
sense when you're
legend, isn't
watching
it?
it.
Yeah, it does all make sense because it goes into the whole Buddha, the female Buddha form sort of storyline and all of that sort of thing as well, because you see Buddha in the game. And basically every week they've got to fight these different demons and protect Tripitaka. That's the story. And there's a couple of seasons of it, and it's such a classic. I mean, anybody watching it now would go, "What on earth is this rubbish?"
There's
and
another
there was
show I
one
enjoy.
point where I was watching it, and I was thinking, "Have I really spent this amount of money on this?" And it just completely got into it.
Are you having regret by any chance?
I had a moment of regret, thinking, "Oh my God, have I really spent this amount of money on this?" I thought, who the hell, I don't care. I'm just going to really enjoy it. And it's just a trip back to childhood.
How does it look in terms of like effects and set and things like that?
It's all wobbly as hell.
It's
original Star Trek, or
it made the original Star Trek look like so incredibly convincing. It really did. But it's such a good box set. There's loads in there, and it's going to take a long time to get through all those episodes.
Yeah, actually, talking about this series, there was another series I used to watch, and I think it might have been on BBC Two, called The Water Margin. Did you ever see that?
No.
Really? Oh, I'm just having a look at an Internet Movie Database.
How long ago? What era?
This was 1973.
It's before I was born.
Yeah, honestly, it's a good show. And I remember the theme music, when you see the beginning of it, you see like all these samurai guys on horseback, and it sounds like a bit of a James Bond theme when it kicks in. But I am going to have to look into that one, actually. The Water Margin is class. I'm assuming that may well still be, I could watch it with subtitles and have the real Japanese background.
Actually, I do vaguely remember about that now that you've mentioned it.
Yeah. Only 26 episodes, by the way.
Yeah. In terms of Monkey, by the way, just so that anybody who wants to kind of like get an idea of the craziness of it, I think that the opening titles give the craziness. So if you go onto our YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. You'll be able to see the intro with the music for that and see if it's your sort of thing, because it shows you some of the kung fu and all of that in the intro.
Nice. Enslaved was meant to be quite a good game, I think.
Oh, it's a fantastic game. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'd never tried it, but I heard good things about it.
It's on Backpat. Seriously, I would, if I was you, would get it and play it. It's well worth it. You'll probably be able to get it for CEX for a couple of quid.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it's a very good game. It's very linear, but as long as you're happy with that,
that's okay. So,
second one is, I've already started talking about it, is about the Steven Spielberg classic Duel, which obviously is Dennis Weaver, set in Southern California, about a truck driver who takes a dislike to a guy and tries to kill him.
Well, you don't actually ever see the driver, though, do you?
No, you never see the driver.
Only the hand just waving him past.
Yeah, and then he tries to knock the car out. The story's by Richard Matheson, who was famous for I Am Legend, and 16 episodes of The Twilight Zone as well, which obviously I've got all of those on Blu-ray as well. And he also did Nightmare at 20,000 Feet on The Twilight Zone, which was one of my very favourite episodes, the one with William Shatner. Also, he authored the story of The Shrinking Man, which was released as The Incredible Shrinking Man, amongst his very many cinema and TV contributions. And funnily enough, it was only a couple of weeks ago I actually watched The Incredible Shrinking Man as well, because that was on, I can't remember, TCM or whatever it was on Sky. So I watched that recently, and I would say, and I don't know if you'll agree with this sort of description or not, Steve, but I would say that this is very, in the way that Spielberg's delivered it, it's quite Hitchcockian in terms of its, its approach like Psycho or Birds, but about a car and a lorry, basically. It's got that sort. It has that sort of tenseness.
Well, I mean, the age. I mean, when did it come out? Early
1971. Same year I was born.
Oh God, I was 7.
7.
And I remember seeing it on TV. Now I'm not sure what year I saw it on TV, but
well, it was released in Europe as a movie.
It was It was released on the TV
in America.
Yeah, I know. I saw it on TV over here.
Yeah, but in Europe, initially it was released as a cinema. Yeah. So it'll probably be 4 years later.
Yeah, because it was 1972 when I went to see Live and Let Die. That was one of my first movies.
Yeah.
I saw. No, it's 1973. Sorry, yeah, that came out in 1973. Along with, I think, even a Disney movie called Robin Hood. If you remember that.
Yeah.
With the
one of my daughter's favourites still.
Oh, my kids! I played it to death on. Yeah.
I never knew Prince of Thieves was that old.
Yeah. He's looking at the box. But no,
I'm too young to remember anything before Prince of Thieves.
But yeah, no, 1973. That was. I started going to the cinema more and more then. But, I remember just seeing it on television, and it would probably have been say mid-70s when it came out on TV, probably.
Yeah.
I think we just had our first colour TV by that point as well.
I think actually I saw it probably at the age of about 7 or 8 first.
Yeah.
I remember watching it with my mum.
Because the thing at the time, he was still Dennis Weaver was very popular with his own TV show, which was McCloud, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Where he was a copper on a horse.
Yeah.
Giving it all of that, but it's very, very well put together.
Very well.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it was from there he went to do the Sugarland Express after that. But if you haven't seen that Spielberg movie, I recommend that one with Goldie Hawn. But very, very good, very good.
In terms of it as a Blu-ray, really good quality Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's a very nice print.
Screen size?
Cinematic, so, I think there was a black bar at the top and the bottom, if I remember rightly.
Letterbox, kind of.
Yeah, it was a really good... Because I wonder what the quality of it's going to actually be like, but it is a nice, clean print. There's not a lot of noise and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've got a digital copy, and that's pretty good. I picked that somewhere, I can't remember now. But,
yeah.
It might have been on platform. I paid for it somewhere, but it's just it is. I would say probably underrated because a lot of people don't know about it. I think it's one that even now, if it got re-released again, people should definitely check it out.
Yeah, definitely. I found it really gripping, to be honest. It's quite sort of.
Because he got
edge of your seat is not really the right way to describe it most of the time.
He was going paranoid, wasn't he? At one point.
Really holds you, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he's having breakfast, he's looking around at people's feet and boots, trying to think who's in there that's driving the truck. Wasn't actually a truck. It was it's
a tanker, isn't it?
Tanker, wasn't it?
Yeah. With flammable fuel in it.
Big rusty old thing.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been possessed for all we know, couldn't it?
Well, no, because it had the thing that
you do get the hand out.
Well,
the window.
the guy could have been even possessed. I don't know, but it just felt that it gave it that sort of.
I think obviously this, with Carrie, was it whatever the car one was? Christine, that's it. I think was obviously this movie probably inspired the car because obviously watching that it's.
I mean,
it's a horror.
That would be a question to ask Stephen King. That one.
Yeah, but because that was made in 1977 was the car, and that was directed by Elliot Silverstein and wrote by Michael Butler. But both of those, they're very sort of like basically it's a vehicle trying to kill people, but obviously the car is much more sort of like demonic sort of thing, whereas Duel is basically about a nuts lorry driver.
Well, then you can compare all of that to Maximum Overdrive. Do you remember that movie?
Vaguely.
Where things are coming to life, and there was that lorry with the big it wasn't a clown. It was like more like what was the Spider-Man enemy in one of those movies, the Goblin or something?
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin.
Yeah.
It had that face on the front of the lorry.
Yeah.
And it was chasing someone. So there's been a very different iterations of possessed vehicles and. But yeah, no, really good.
And my last show to watch is one that's been on Amazon Prime, and it's been on for ages. And I'm sure that there is one or two of our listeners who are in the Facebook group will be, hooray, I finally watched it, because people have been asking me, why haven't you watched it?
Yeah.
And that is The Expanse.
I did have a little look at it. I've been watching something else, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah, I have looked at the first episode, and it didn't grab me, just looking at it at the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, I've tried to watch this 6 times, got various different positions through season 1, and then had to restart it on 6 different occasions. And it was actually, I was talking to Alan, and he'd said, seriously, you've got to watch The Expanse. And I was like, I can't get into it. And it was like, just keep watching. So I took him on his word and basically did the Clockwork Orange thing. I've had my eyes widened up, with drops being put on. I thought, I am going to watch this blooming thing no matter what. And I got past the bit where I kept getting burnt out with it. And my God, by the end of it, I was so. It was like how I found Game of Thrones, where I then got to the end bit. I thought, no, I've got 18 months to find out what happens next, sort of thing. Because obviously they're shooting the last season at the moment. But basically, this is set hundreds of years in the future. The Earth has colonised Mars, which has become an independent nation in its own, and is near war with Earth. Caught between them, between Earth and Mars, are Belters, who are basically downtrodden humans who live on the outer edge of the solar system, who are basically suppressed by both Mars and Earth. There's one of the main characters, James Holden. He's the exo of a freighter who witnesses his ship being destroyed by what appears to be a Martian warship. Holden and the rest of the crew then set out on a quest across the solar system to find out the truth behind what's happened. And meanwhile, a detective looks for a lost girl of one of the wealthiest men in the solar system, only to find out that she's become infected by an alien virus that will threaten the entire solar system. It's a really well-produced show. Which tries to be scientifically accurate in everything that it does. And the show is in season 1. I'm not going to lie. It's a really hard watch. But as soon as you start hitting that season 2 and the character development has got there, my God, it picks up. Every season is different as well. It has a different focus. So like one of the seasons is focused more on a planet than in space.
The first season, because I was watching.
No. On the first season, they're a bit all over the place. The first season's it's setting up so much for what's to come. You know the Admiral on Star Trek Beyond, the woman with the very deep voice, Yeah. She's on it as well, and she plays an absolutely fantastic character on there. There's a few people that you might recognise, but I would really, really urge anyone who likes science fiction to watch this and just watch season 1, which will be a hard watch, and then from season 2 it gets so much better. so much better. Like exponential improvement in terms of it as a show. So that's my recommendation for the week, really, is The Expanse.
Okay.
Might be one for your wife there, Mark.
Yeah, maybe. I'll recommend.
But remember to tell her that I said season 1 is a different.
Yeah, I will do.
It's the special effects are very well put together from what I've worked out, from what I've seen of it. It seems like, it's probably top notch for that point of view.
It is. Everything's top notch on it. It is 100% of the way. Everything is top notch. It's a really good story. Everything. It's just the first season just didn't. I don't know whether or not it was the way that they introduced the characters, throwing too much at you at once or whatever. but it just didn't gel, and I fought and fought to like it, and I couldn't, and then I got hit on season 2, and it just transformed it. And I can't even say what it was, but once I got onto season 2, I thought, I'm actually quite enjoying this now. And then by the time I got to season 3, I was committed to watching it in as quick a time as possible. And when I got to the end of season 5, I was sort of like, oh no!
Because you're a bit of a insomniac, that you can crack a few seasons out pretty quickly, can't you?
Oh yeah, I can. I mean, there's 10 to 15 episodes per season, so that for me is 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, interesting. That compares to my TV viewing is a little bit different to yours, obviously, so it takes me a bit longer to.
Well, you do music, don't you? So
yeah, but no, we do watch TV together, me and the missus.
Yeah, see, I don't watch. My wife would hate this.
Well, if I go on to so there's a few things I've been watching. I've picked up. Look, about 4 or 5 now. About 4. I've picked up a load of classic sci-fi movies, B movies. So even though I owned the DVD version of The Day the Earth Stood Still, I picked up the Blu-ray version because there's a shed load more extras, and it's one of my favourite classic ones. And I also picked up This Island Earth as well, which is another favourite of mine, which is about a guy. This guy gets given this book to build this device, and the aliens are giving it all to him, and it's basically a communication device to talk to these people, to be roped into going to this other place. And you got typical aliens in it and all that. It's just great stuff for me. So I've been watching them sort of late night. I did watch because I think, when did we do the last podcast that I was in?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow, I've really caned a Netflix series in 2 weeks. Anyway, so since we last spoke, I said to the missus, I said, look, you've run out of shows to watch. I've run out of things to watch at the minute, but I think we should watch this. And she went, really? I went, well, just put the first episode on. I said, you never know. Anyway, it hooked her as much as it hooked me. And the show I'm talking about is Cobra
Kai. Yes, I knew it. What did I say? And Steve's on here, and he's like, oh, I found a new show. Told you.
But
Told you.
You told me. I say, I've been watching other stuff, but I thought, do you know what? I'll give it a go now, because I sat and watched over the weekend The Karate Kid, because I haven't watched that for years, and I only watched it just because we finished watching Cobra Kai. So I thought, I love Elizabeth Shue. Let me put that back on. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But actually, even though, was it 10 episodes a season? Was it something like that? And there is a 4th season coming out tail end of this year as well. They were very well put together, and it found me rooting more for Johnny than for LaRusso.
Can I just pause you a second, Steve? Mark, we've had a discussion about this. Isn't he saying every word that I've already said he would say?
Well, I've missed you.
Told you.
So, Mark, have you seen it then as well?
No.
Oh!
I do know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it, no. I've kind of, when I've been flicking through, I've sort of seen it in the listings, and I just thought, should I give it a go? Because I quite like the original movies.
You can, and then you'll be saying exactly the same things as well.
Probably.
Because it's what I said.
Isn't it weird that you were rooting for Johnny all the time, where you're thinking, LaRusso, get over it, move on?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even though it was more to do with the kids, and it was more like a teen show than at one point where it was kids.
But then they flipped it again, and you were back to rooting for Johnny.
Yeah.
And you kept LaRusso, Johnny, and you kept flipping between them all the way along, you know.
But then as they were becoming, you'd say they were becoming friends to a certain degree, and obviously then when out the shadows comes Johnny's old sensei, and I'm thinking, yeah, I remember him. He was in Rambo First Blood Part 2 as well, and he was an arsehole in that. But
Chris.
Yeah, so he was an arsehole in that as well, wasn't he?
Do you know, it's funny, I was actually talking to my next door neighbour about this as well. He was going to go off and watch it as well, and he's like, 10 years on yourself, Steve.
Oh, really?
But, yeah. But, do you know what made my day in this? What actually made my day was seeing Elizabeth Shue in it at the tail end of that season. That just ticks every box there is, because I think she's lovely as hell. I've been following her through the 80s in her career, and,
Don't get me wrong. See, I love Cocktail with Tom Cruise and Elizabeth Shue. I tell you, I love that film. I don't care what anyone else say.
Were they married at one point?
No, never.
No.
Tom Cruise married.
Elizabeth Shue was married to. Is it John Travolta?
Don't think
I can't remember now.
Tom Cruise married his co-star in
Kelly Preston.
Yeah, in Risky Business.
Yeah.
And he also went out with Penelope Cruz as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
And his co-star of Batman. Oh, no, but not that he was in Batman, but the woman was in Batman. What was her name?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
No, the Batman Begins. He got married to her after Nicole Kidman.
I'm making it up. I'm spreading rumours about Elizabeth Shue. She hasn't been married to any of them.
No, but I just remember that smile. I'm actually watching the Karate Kid again, seeing her as she was then, which was roughly the same sort of time when she did Back to the Future, Part 2, obviously. And I can't remember some of them, but it did really work. And actually caning it the way I did and not having to wait for the seasons, maybe that some people would have done, it made it so much better. Even though now we've got to wait, because the way it ended in the last episode, which I knew that was going to come at some point, and I was sort of saying, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have, I said we're going to probably have the two girls fighting at some point, and that will be the next, we'll see. I mean, that's what I still think might happen, but it's just very well put together with how the characters flipped backwards and forwards with their allegiance, because I still think Lip was a complete dick. And he was just off the rails, that guy. Absolutely off the rails.
Yeah. I'm really pleased that you've seen it, Steve, because I knew you would like it and you were putting up so much resistance.
Well, it wasn't that. I've been watching so much. I don't get, unfortunately, the time sometimes to cane a series like you with yourself. I mean, Mrs. is next door at the minute, watching Legion, because she is a big fan of the Vampire Diaries and all that stuff as well. But she says she wants me to watch the Vampire Diaries. I said, I haven't got time to watch that in a minute. But very, very enjoyable. I don't think there was too many slow-paced episodes, although they would use the background stories to have a filler at some point, maybe.
What did you think about the episode at the end of season 3, where it went back to the Karate Kid Part 2?
Oh yeah, no, I because that's what I'm gonna watch Karate Kid Part 2 and 3 at some point. They're on my queue to watch. But yeah, no, I remember I recognised her and I thought, oh god, yeah,
and him.
Yeah, and he was.
that was so funny.
Yeah, and obviously he wasn't being an arsehole, even though LaRusso was crapping himself over this. And I think using the original cast the way they have done,
brilliant.
You can't do that in too many movies,
no.
And it never sometimes works. But yeah, they nailed it big time. Really, have nailed it. I'm very surprised, and I don't think a lot of movies can do that sort of idea.
I think as for a movie that was as iconic as The Karate Kid,
then
producing Cobra Kai, it has not only made the original movie more iconic, it has made itself so special.
But do you know what? I actually enjoyed, even though I haven't seen The Karate Kid for absolute years, and it's probably been a long, long time, I actually enjoyed it even more because obviously the flashbacks are in the TV show, in Cobra Kai, sorry. But actually watching it from start to finish, and it's like, that was then all the callbacks to the show anyway, and the other way round, if you're going to spin it on the other head. And it was really nice to actually, and I was thinking, do you know what, LaRusso, he was a dick in Karate Kid. He was an absolute dick at some points as well, and he well deserved it. So from Johnny's point of view and how he was saying what he was like, obviously with the water in Halloween, for example, and, he would he would just be as bad as Johnny was. They're as bad as each other, correct.
But they established that, I think, right throughout the whole thing, is that the reason why that they don't get on is because they are actually so alike.
Yeah.
Much more than either of them wants to say so. And Johnny's girlfriend and Danny's wife both see it.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean,
it was
LaRusso's
Shue,
wife,
wasn't it?
Yeah, but LaRusso's wife is superb. I think she's great. I love her. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
And she's so clued up to what's going on and saying, give it a rest, guys, But having her talking to Elizabeth Shue's character at that, when they were sitting down, and she said, I'm all ears, come on, fire, I want to hear all this. And it was a treat, absolute treat to watch it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, I must admit.
I am actually really pleased that you enjoyed it because I knew you would. That's what I
Yeah.
was so frustrated about for the last year.
Well, there's some shows and some DVDs I've still got wrapped in packaging that I haven't fit to watch. There's things that you just,
Well, I went out and I bought the Karate Kid on 4K.
Did you really?
Watched it, yeah.
There is. I mean, I haven't watched the reboot. I didn't watch the one because that's Will Smith's son plays in it.
I did watch that. It was not.
Yeah,
not
Jaden,
such-
is it?
Jaden Smith, yeah.
Yeah, and there is a version called the Karate Kid as a girl as well that came out.
The
Yeah.
next Karate Kid.
Yeah,
That's right.
but I would just stick with the original three. I think
Yeah.
that's all you need to see. But it's funny because when we're watching, and because I hadn't seen it for so long, and you see where obviously LaRusso now has his dojo, and when the Karate Kid, as he was there, and he goes and he asks him to turn at 6 o'clock in the morning, he starts getting him to wax on, wax off, which I did remember that bit. Then he got him to do the painting and everything else. That was all, it's like it was like
Classic.
going through a mirror with it. So maybe that's a good way of watching it. If you haven't seen Karate Kid, go and watch Cobra Kai and then watch the Karate Kid afterwards, and then you get the full perspective of the story in the background between the two characters.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's Mark's next job to do then, if you've not seen it.
Yeah, get your wife on it, Mark.
honestly, my missus said, when are we watching the next one? Okay, we're going to watch them tonight then. We didn't watch any other TV shows that we had queued up on the Skybox. Every night we was watching 2 or 3 a night to go through it. And my missus was really annoyed with some of the Cobra Kai because they was nasty bastards, excuse my French. And it's quite good. And the way they between the son and how that was all spinning on between the different people looking after her, taking them under their wing, and very, very clever, very clever. And we move on. Mark.
Yes, well, I have a movie. I watched a movie this week, a newish movie, 2020, on Netflix called Palm Springs. Now, one of my favourite movies, especially of Bill Murray's in time, is Groundhog Day.
Mm.
You know that, you must have seen that. And
I have it on 4K Blu-ray up here on my shelf.
yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I've got it on Apple.
Mm.
But this is sort of a Groundhog Day for sort of brought up to date. It doesn't have that kind of sweetness that not all the time that Groundhog Day has, but it is about a character called Niles, who's played by Andy Samberg, who was in from Saturday Night Live. He was also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine with another actor from the movie called J.K. Simmons, was also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And he gets stuck in a time loop that essentially involves going to a cave. The loop is kind of sustained by getting to a cave at a certain near a hotel where they're staying, and they're in wedding. It's a wedding scenario from the main female character in it called Sarah, played by Kristen Milioti. It's her younger sister's wedding day, and they're just stuck in the loop of this wedding day. But what I think with this movie is it's full of characters and actors specifically that you look at and you think they look really familiar, and yet when you actually IMDb them or check them, they haven't done many huge kind of roles at all, really. It's good. It's Niles is in a kind of a relationship that's ending on the wedding day, relationship with one of the bridesmaids, and it's it's kind of more hedonistic than Groundhog Day because he's been in the loop for so long. He's kind of lost the meaning of, nothing matters really for him anymore. There's no consequence. He's gone through the same kind of process as Bill Murray did. He's tried the kind of suicides and all kinds of scenarios. He's already done that. But then because he ends up sort of having a fling with the main female character, Sarah, one night, she ends up getting stuck in the loop with him.
Yeah.
So, and it's about, because she follows him into the cave, but it kind of pans out their story of the day and how eventually what happens in the end is how the movie pans out. He's chased by this guy called Roy, played by J.K. Simmons, who again, he was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well. And again, he's one of those older kind of American character actors that looks really familiar. But he hasn't really done anything too major. He's been around a long time, but it's well cast, well kind of played out. It's got some quite funny moments. It's got moments that are more serious. Just general kind of good all-rounder movie. Recommend. Yeah, recommend. Directed by Max Barbakov, who co-wrote it as well, I think. And yeah, it's good. It's well worth. That's on Netflix. That was my main viewing.
I tried to look on Netflix, couldn't find it.
I thought it was on Prime.
Or was it Amazon? I thought we watched it on Netflix, but maybe it was Amazon. Yeah, maybe it was Amazon.
I'm going to go to Amazon Prime Video because I was. Yes, it is. I can see it on the first page.
Yeah. Apologies, it is on Amazon Prime. Yeah,
it's the one that they're pushing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. We just sat down with the missus and we were looking for something to watch and pick that.
Yeah.
Once.
I'd love to see probably watch it with the missus. That might be something that's,
And it's it's quite recent. It's only last year, so released.
Yeah. Because there's a couple of films like that have come out over the time. There was one that came out recently, about a year or two ago, that we watched, which had Rachel McAdams in it and Bill Nighy. Remember what I'm talking about?
They did a Richard Curtis movie called About Time.
That's what I'm on about. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's a good movie, is that?
It is a good movie. I own that one, but it's got to be at least 4 or 5 years old now.
So that old now, blimey. But I always go.
If not older than that.
Yeah, if not older, yeah. And that's got Domhnall Green as well, who plays the general in the newer Star Wars movies with the ginger hair. He does the big speech in the first the Force Awakens. He plays the First Order general, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, it's actually 8 years old. Is about time.
Yeah.
Really? Blimey. Yeah. That's frightening. It just seems like that was just yesterday. Really?
Yeah. No, I think you stood in the wardrobe to get it to be just yesterday.
But it is Bill Nighy's. He's superb, isn't he? And
he to me, and evidently he was offered it and he turned it down. But he to me is the person to play Doctor Who.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. So.
Just speaking about that, when I would say if you catch Graham Norton, and I was talking about earlier about Tom Cruise, and we would who was it? It was the comedian I was talking about earlier that was on the show as well. Do you remember?
Oh, John Bishop.
John Bishop.
Yeah, he's in Doctor Who now because
he's the next new companion.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he was talking to some people on a live stream. The BBC tried to tell him off because he said, "Well, how am I telling them anything different that everyone knows? Where am I going to come from? I've got my accent. They're not going to know where they've got no problem thinking where that is. Do you know what I mean?"
Well, lots of planets have a north.
I know. And the funny thing was though, right, when there was a live stream with Tom Cruise and the two other actors and actresses that's in the new Top Gun movie, and I can't remember the guy that was with him, but he went and blurted out a spoiler. Now, whether or not, he said, "Who do you play?" He said, "Well, I'm the son of one of the original characters." And I can't think which one it was now, but yeah. And he went, "Oh, should I have not said that?" And you can see Tom thinking, "No, maybe you shouldn't." But,
isn't Jodie Whittaker leaving? Isn't this her last season or something?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
There's been rumours that for quite a while, isn't there? But yeah, I say definitely check up with Graham Norton this week. That was superb.
Because he's replacing Bradley Walsh and Tosin Cole. You
think he's too famous to be a companion?
Well, Bradley Walsh is just as famous as
I
John
know.
Bishop.
Yeah, I know. But he's more of a comedian.
To be fair, I never felt that he was a good fit for Doctor Who. Bradley Walsh. I mean, I like Bradley, don't get me wrong, but he just felt like chalk and cheese as him as a companion. He just didn't fit.
But I just can't see John Bishop as a companion. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, and evidently, who's John Barrowman is going to be taking his role back as well.
Well, that is for me superb because I think he's brilliant. I really
Captain Jack, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was recently rewatching Torchwood, and that's the adult Doctor Who, as far as I'm concerned. That show. Don't you like it?
No.
Oh, I loved it. That's brilliant. I mean, the last series went a bit weak, and the last special was a bit poor. But
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to say what I found to be totally unrealistic was a very naive point of view, because John Barrowman ended up sleeping with every man who was on the show, who was one of the in the main Torchwood group. It's not realistic. I'm sorry, but I don't care how good looking John Barrowman is. He's not good looking enough to make everybody gay.
Well, that's neither here nor there, to be honest.
It's just stuff
some
like
of the
that
stories that they brought up, some of the stories they did in that could have easily been Doctor Who ones, obviously.
I think the children one, whatever that was
the one, the tail ending one, yeah.
I thought that was a good story.
But some of the single episodes you had, very adult content.
Yeah, but I still felt it was very cheesy Doctor Who.
But the Torchwood was, didn't it have the female lead and the actress, or the actor died?
The Welsh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Can't remember her name now.
She's dead, isn't she?
No, she's not dead.
What am I thinking of then? It was the Doctor Who spin-off.
This is Gwen.
You're thinking of his companion who died. She was Tom Baker's companion and came back with for an episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was called Torchwood though.
No, that wasn't called Torchwood.
Sarah Jane, you're talking about.
Sarah Jane Adventures, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Sorry, Sarah Jane Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Torchwood is a completely different show.
Yeah, I remember now.
Based at the point where the in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Where you've got it's open there to aliens and all sorts.
Eve Miles is the Welsh actress.
Yeah. But some of I've rewatched the first few episodes, and obviously it links to Doctor Who because he's got his hand in his basement.
I'll tell you what, Burt Gorman, who played Owen Harper on Torchwood, is actually in the Expanse on one of the seasons.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, and also the next thing which I've actually finally got round to watching and broke through that pain barrier of not enjoying it to enjoying it is Man in the High Castle.
Oh, on Prime?
Yeah, I'm watching that now. That's my next thing I'm binging. And he's in that as well on a couple of the episodes.
Yeah.
But just going back to Palm Springs, Andy Samberg, who stars in that from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and SNL, it was also the titular character on Cuckoo, which I talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Anyway, should we move into questions now, or should we normally says Mark's questions, but Mark's here, so
yeah.
I did submit one. Was it last week or the week before? I can't remember.
Anyway, so should we go into questions then?
Yeah, let's do that.
John, what's happening to us?
Okay, Mark, so as it's Mark's questions, you can read the first one.
Sure. So, Jason Toon asks, with the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect on the horizon, it's given me the urge to play through Andromeda again, and it's reminded me of how rushed and incomplete the game feels. It's still Mass Effect at its core, but the stripping back of some of the RPG elements and removal of certain mechanics make it feel like a step backwards. So my question today, what's been your most disappointing sequel to a game franchise you enjoy?
We hit the nail on the head for me personally. I don't know anyone else.
I don't know. I suppose I'm disappointed with the way Halo has gone, but that's not just a second sequel. That was all right, but
I think anything after Halo 3.
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think once you've done 1, 2, and 3, after that it starts to deteriorate quite a lot. I think.
I think they realise that. Hence, hopefully, we're going to see something completely different. Or back to what we know.
Yeah, I think it just needs a strong. Just go back to a strong single-player campaign, and then a good, decent multiplayer for those. That is all you need, really.
I'll tell you another game that was a sequel, but a sequel to a sequel. was basically part 3. Dead Space 3.
I didn't play the third one.
I don't remember it at all.
No, the first and the second one were fantastic. Two of my favourite games from the 360 era. But when you get to Dead Space 3, they then started building in all the microtransactions and that EA does, and it just ruined the game. And it ended up being a pay-to-win sort of game, and it was rubbish after that, and it killed off that as a franchise. I would love to see that come back. What I would say is, Jason, if you're on PC, then seriously look into modding it. Go back a few months ago, I talk about modding Mass Effect Andromeda on the PC. If you want to go and live through that, it makes it a much better experience, but it is PC based. If you want to know how to do it, just DM me and I'll go through it with you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
Cool. Carry on. Go for
I
it.
was going to say, Paul Wilson asks, do you think gaming would not be where it is today if controllers had not advanced beyond the joystick? I think that's just evolution for my money.
It comes hand in hand, personally, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's necessity breeds invention, doesn't it? You want to do more in the game, you've got to have more buttons and more control.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what we would have ended up with if we hadn't have gone to a controller but maintained the joystick. If we'd have maybe have had an additional controller, or maybe used a keyboard or something.
Or more buttons around it.
You'd have your joystick and then some other thing on the other hand. Maybe,
Steve?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold test.
I used to have one of those years ago.
Yeah, me too.
For the Amiga.
But for those people who can't see the video, I just held up my X52 hard ass to the camera.
We'll need that for Flight Simulator, won't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Elite Dangerous.
An old Flight Simulator is why I bought one for an old PC many years ago.
Can I just having a thought? Actually, I read recently online about Elite Dangerous. Anybody who was a backer or purchased the DLC Horizon with the unlimited update pass will get Odyssey for free. Don't buy it if you fall within that in the PC community. Xbox and PlayStation community, sorry, your luck's out because it didn't offer that. But on the PC community, if you were a backer and I was one of the Kickstarters, then I get every upgrade to that game free, and it's looking really fantastic. I've been looking at some stuff that's been shown.
Good. I was just thinking, on going back to that question, it would be quite quite interesting if an indie developer just tried to work a game out and see what they could innovate with just one joystick controller. That would be, just as an exercise more than anything else, see what they could come up with. But it's more the sort of thing you'd do as a student or something, isn't it, really?
I think if we stuck with controllers, it would look something more like a halter and probably have a little stick on the top that we would use as like a right stick.
Yeah.
And then probably, because of the way you'd have to hold it, the buttons would be underneath, so that you held it in one hand and moved the stick in the other. But it'd be interesting to see whether or not they made that left or right-handed.
Motion control, though. Just put a motion detector in the bottom, almost like a Wii controller,
Yeah, possible.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we've had so many different types of controllers over the years. We have had some weird and wonderful things that have turned up. And some things that did work, some things that didn't work, some things that fell apart with my hands. Who knows?
What's one of your favourite non-conventional controllers?
I think it was pretty cool when you had the fishing reel. Do you remember that? Didn't it come out?
Sega Bass fishing.
Yeah.
Fish.
Yeah, fish aren't. Yeah, that was cool. Or beyond that, probably just a light gun. Light guns were cool.
Yeah, they were cool. My favourite was the G-Con on the PlayStation. Did you ever see that? Basically, it had a twisting mechanism in the middle. And it had it was like a controller cut through the middle, but with a circular bit. And it was actually an analog steering when you only had, a D-pad sort of thing. So it was like such a innovation, and it had two analog buttons as well. You had to really press down like a trigger, but obviously they weren't a trigger. That I loved that controller. I could make Bridge Racer do anything I wanted for that controller.
Okay, can we move on?
Yeah.
I need to eat. I'll get hungry in a minute. So,
Go on, you do Scott's then.
okay. So, if your favourite game developers lose all its staff and put a new one into place, does it mean it still means it to be the same developer in your eye? Even though everyone's perfect game is difficult. Okay. Any thoughts?
So basically, he's asking if a developer changes all its staff.
It's like what happened. It's like what
developer?
happened to Lionhead, wasn't it? They all left, didn't they?
No, they all started doing something other than Goddess.
Yeah, I think.
Because Microsoft bought Lionhead, then they all left because they were doing Fable and stuff like that. I think, didn't they?
No, back then, no, it was Peter Molyneux. He was Lionhead.
No, I'm on about way after that. I'm on about when he left. After that, when some of the people that were doing Lionhead stuff, when obviously the last game they did, which didn't come to fruition, they all left. They went to do other things. But now there's Fable's coming back, but that's under Microsoft on its own, isn't it?
The thing is, if all the big developers are kind of using smaller developers anyway now, aren't they? So even though Bethesda releases quite a few games in a year, they'll actually, a lot of them are developed primarily by smaller developing companies that develop for Bethesda.
So when Fable comes out, for me, that means it's not Lionhead anymore. It's Microsoft, because it's not the same team anymore, is it?
No, but I think kind of what Scott Kidd is saying is right. I mean, it's not necessarily the developer; it's actually the people that make the game.
But look at 365 from Bungie and Halo.
343.
343. So what was I saying? 365. God knows. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, 343 Industries. Who now make Halo.
Yeah.
But that's a case. That's almost the opposite, though, isn't it? That's a game that changes developers in the series rather than developer changing staff, I suppose. That's just a completely different developer taking over the same series and trying to, in a lot of ways, replicate or continue what other people have created.
I think that the key is not so much. I don't mean to disrespect programmers, but it's not so much the programmers. It's the original creative concept people. So the writers, the directors, the artists behind it. If they go, they take that creative flair with them. The technical thing of programming it, I think, is slightly different. And like I said, I don't mean to take that away from the programmers, but I think it's that creative aspect of creating the world in terms of its look and in terms of the way that the story goes is what changes in terms of if you take all of the stuff out and put new in.
But if you apply that to something like Halo, it's like we were talking about earlier, though, wasn't it? When we said, when we were talking about the sequels, you and I, Haydn, said after 3 they deteriorate.
Yeah, because it was 343.
Yeah, but all of those character models and the aesthetics, the visuals, were all already in place. They didn't.
But
they didn't have to do those too much. But it's the story writers, and that comes down to like you're saying, the creative aspect of gaming rather than the coding.
Yeah,
I mean the coding, not to kind of belittle it, but is how a character moves, how they interact with the environment it's in. Whereas, like you say, the creation is where it can be made or broken, I think.
Well, to put it in another way, if you were buying a car, you buy a Porsche because of buying a design. You don't buy it because it was made by a certain engineer.
Yeah.
You may buy it because it was maybe by a certain designer or a certain house of design.
Yeah, good analogy, I think.
Okay, should we move to the last question?
Last one.
So that's Lee, and he's asking, what's your favourite video game weapon, armour set, vehicle, and sidekick? They don't have to be from the same game.
I'll tell you one sidekick I do love, and I always felt sorry for her sometimes, was in Skyrim, and I can't think of her name all of a sudden.
Lydia?
Yeah, that's her. She always was a pain. She always ran away, and I'd lose her for a few days, and then she'd suddenly turn up next to me. Well, where you been?
I remember
How come I remembered her name?
I know,
Yeah.
exactly.
she's my kind of housekeeper now in Skyrim. But I remember once when she was my companion in one playthrough, we went into a Falmer cave, and it was quite high up and quite narrow walkways, and she fell to her death. Dozy.
Bitch.
Yeah. But I think Skyrim is my obvious go-to to answer that question as well, really. I think the weapon is Ariel's bow in Skyrim, because that's one of the best bows in the game, and it is my weapon I use all the time. The armor set, I think one of the ones that looks the coolest is the glass armor. That just looks awesome. Vehicle, I'm not sure. I'll have to think of a different game for that. Warthog in Halo, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And the sidekick, pick your companion. Serana is my current companion in Skyrim. The vampire woman, she's quite good. Really quite strong.
Armor set for me, I do like the Brother to Steel armor set in Fallout.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. But as I have to mod the game now, I've got an untold amount of ways of keeping that armor alive and not having to hunt for them or steal them out of any sort of atomic fuel station or somewhere. But then again, I was a bit of a fan of having the Halo armor set in Fable. I think it was Fable 2 actually, it was in, which I got as an extra. I think that was a bonus because I had a special edition of some kind. And even had the sword as well, which was quite cool. Vehicle, if I could say vehicle, can I say it was more of a space vehicle? I'd say the Normandy in Mass Effect. Haydn?
I'm going to go video game weapon would be the icebreaker on Destiny.
Oh yeah, remember them days.
Yeah, I used to love the icebreaker, and it used to frustrate the hell out of me that you both had it and I didn't. And you used to be sat there and you used to be getting your refreshing ammo, and I used to have to go into battle. And then when I got it after that, I thought, right, I'm stopping well away because I'm naturally a sniper in the game. So the icebreaker from Destiny, in terms of armor set, I'm going to go with the Into the Spider-Verse suit in Spider-Man Miles Morales, because I love the way that they actually changed the animation style on that that suit to match the movie. So they actually cut down and cut out some of the frames in terms of the animation and stuff like that. But also, I would say in that same game, the Iron Spider, Spider-Man suit were both great armor sets. Vehicle, my thought was the Normandy as well. So since that's already been said, I'm going to have to say it because it's in a Star Wars game, Millennium Falcon, because I've always wanted to fly the Millennium Falcon. And I would have said the Enterprise, apart from the fact that there's no good Star Trek games to play.
No, we can't. I wouldn't need to say it either.
And then in terms of sidekick, I'm going to go with Trico from The Last Guardian. Even though I didn't like the game. But I like the character.
Did I say a weapon? I didn't, did I? Don't think I did.
No, I don't think so. The energy sword in Halo is pretty cool.
Well, that is. I mean, if you're going to go Destiny, there's one weapon I still want to have back, and not an exotic. That's the Hung Jury. I love that weapon. That was one of my favourites for the class I was using. But well, I'm sure we'll see some come back at some point. I haven't been on Destiny for a week or two now. I know. I need to go back. I've got to do some FIFA tonight.
Bungie stock shares have dropped by 700%.
Yeah. I'm going to go to FIFA before midnight, before the changeover for just getting my card packs from what I'm doing at the moment for grinding.
Another weapon that just came to my mind was it Half-Life that had the gravity gun? Half-Life 2.
Yeah. How about the gun in Portal?
I was going to say, or the portal gun. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, that'd be cool.
What was the name of the hand cannon in Destiny that I liked? I can't remember what it was called. The one that shot the green poison. Thorn. That was it. I like that one as well.
Yeah, I've got that back again, haven't I? That came back.
Yeah, that was another one where it was a thorn in my side because you two had it and I didn't.
And it was tough to get. You needed to. I remember rightly, to do that again. There's a mission you had to do to.
You had to go into Crucible. And then it was really punishing Crucible because you actually had to get more kills than.
But now the one for getting it now, you have to go back and do that mission. There's a certain mission you got to do and kill different witches before you have the main one to drop the thorn. Remember rightly? It's in my vault, sitting there still.
And Maleficence wasn't too bad on Destiny as well.
I've got a dry mouth. I need to drink. Yeah, Malfeasance, is it?
Yeah, Malfeasance. That's it.
Yeah. That's a good gun as well. That's a good hand cannon.
Yeah.
You can pick some of them up. Actually, I think you might be able to in the. Because you haven't been on Destiny for so long now, there is a place where you can buy some of these weapons as well, but it's going to cost you a bit more.
Do you remember I used to always on Destiny 1 rock the Badger CCL?
You did, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I actually got repetitive strain injury on my trigger finger because that was a scout rifle. So them two were rocking machine guns, and there was me going bang, 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 bang constantly. And my finger, I still get pain in that finger if I use a scout rifle too often.
Yeah, a lot of those exotics, or actually the legendary ones, you can pick some of them up actually now. Because I picked up one of those. I picked up the what was the one that was a pain in everyone's thought and everyone's side? One of the legendary. I think it was a machine gun. So I've actually got that now and put it in my vault, even though it's not been able to be used anyway because it's been held back due to its size and everything else. But anyway, I need to eat and I'm really hungry, guys. So can we call it a day?
Yeah, can for me.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll quickly do mine. So at Steve07, PSN ID, even though I've not been on it for so long, is the real Steve07. Instagram, Steve0764, and I think Steve07 for the YouTube account as well for music in vinyl movies. Mark?
I am on Instagram at _kitchensmith_. My email is Marc, which is spelled MARC, at kitchensmith.co.uk, and gamer tag is kitchensmith. Haydn?
For me, I'm HERJUK on everything. That's Twitter, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, but on Epic, I'm on Pop Culture Gamers. Don't forget that you can also follow the show on Twitter at Pop Culture Gamer. On Facebook, we have a group and we have a page. You can also email us at podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. We have our website, anchor.fm/popculturegamers. We also have a YouTube channel. You'll have to search for us as Pop Culture Gamers, but because we haven't got enough subscriptions yet, then we need 14 more before we can actually get the name. So come on, guys, we need 14 of you in the next week to do that for us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Anything else? Is that it? Are we done?
We're done.
I think we're done.
I think it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
And it's a good night from me.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.